Spiral arm of the Milky Way galaxy, the solar system, planet Earth, North America, the United States of America, no longer Los Angeles, California. My name is Brian Engelman. Today is Friday, July 11, 2025, and this is the TNAM Daily Show. Thank you, everybody, for stopping in today. There's the logo right there. Of course, we are on the new American media over there because the old American media has failed us. It's not media as we thought. It's not journalism as we were taught, as we expected. It's been a lifelong subjugation, a lifelong barrage, a lifelong assault on each and every one of us to get inside of our heads, to manipulate, to control, to bribe, to blackmail. But I always envisioned media could be something different. That's why I created the new American media. 14 years ago, millions of views, countless events, historical events, from the Bundy Ranch to January 6th to the political conventions of the most interesting political soap opera you could imagine. We're doing our part to unpack the news each day, and we're allowed to have uncomfortable questions, uncomfortable answers. Iron sharpens iron. We need to have more healthy conversations. It's okay. It's okay if we're not on the same page. See, the name of my other show is called the Agree to Disagree Show. We're supposed to be able to talk about stuff. We don't need to agree on everything. And we can push back and we can have different opinions. And we don't need to become disagreeable. We can put a pin on a point. It's kind of put a pin on a point. I feel like I'm doing battle rap or something. There's Harry Mack or Eminem. You should be able to be talking about any particular subject and like, oh God, I don't even want to get into this right now. And go, let's just agree to disagree on that point. Let's talk about literally anything else. How often do we do that? How often do we push conversations to the point where we need to do that? And it's not even about a need. It could just be about, you know what, let's talk about baseball. I don't know. I don't want to talk about this right now. Cool. I try to talk about what's going on. Today is Friday, July 11th, as I said. And we're going to talk about what's going on. Well, this is what was going on 1 year ago. 2 days from now, so this Sunday, will be July 13th. July 13th was the shot heard around the world. The shots heard around the world. And a year later, what do we know? And they say, oh, there is no Epstein list. There is no Epstein list. Just shut up. I don't want to hear any of that anymore. I want to know the bullet points on where we are with everything. We've been playing for the past several days a retrospective, going backward. I made a movie project set to Enema by Tool, and I interspliced some Glenn Beck clips that seemed to fit the lyrics of Maynard. It's a really cool project. And there's a screen that says something like, the further backward we look, the more likely we'll understand the future, or something like that. And so we're trying to understand, like, where are we at? What's going on? This is what we're going to do. This is the best we got as a society. Like, this is how we're going to operate. Like, this is what we're going to allow. I'm gonna kind of run through a laundry list of things that have been done by secretive, well-financed, powerful people to abuse humanity, to abuse the human soul, to really fuck with what it is that makes us us. And you do reach a point you can go past, and I think this happens to a lot of people in the military. You can move past humanity, and you sort of have to. That's literally the job you're signing up to do. Nurses and doctors and veterinarians and like the job. Funeral homes. I mean, like there's whole, you have to move past humanity to make things mechanical. But aside from these specific places where you need to lose your humanity to get through each day, and that's a whole other topic for another day, but what is going on? Either we have some representatives who are putting together a situation for us all to thrive within that makes sense, and it's not becoming oppressive and abusive. You kind of roll with it, and you're like, all right, cool. I mean, it's pretty common sense. Like, try not to harm other people. All right, I'll do my best to try to not harm other people. It's not asking a lot. But this Epstein case, the further backward we look, the more likely we are to understand the future. I'm going to see if I can pull up that project. I can't play it because I don't own that Tool Anima song. Some say the end is near. Some say we'll see Armageddon soon. I certainly hope we will. I sure could use a vacation from this bullshit circus sideshow of freaks here in this hopeless fucking hole we call LA. The only way to fix it is to flush it all away. Any fucking time, any fucking day, learn to swim, see you down in Arizona Bay. After like a polar shift and Arizona Bay swallows up it, Mother Earth. So Maynard literally lives in a place like 10 to 15,000 feet above sea level, overlooking Arizona Bay in Jerome, Arizona. See, when you have resources, these things happen. Deb was talking about, let me put the comments up on the screen. Hi, everybody, to all the regulars jumping in. Deb was mentioning it yesterday, like that Bare Naked Ladies song, If I Had $1 Million. And I was in a text thread just now before we went live on the show about talking with two colleagues. I haven't talked to one of them in a long time, an ongoing conversation with the other. And I go, oh, tell what's his name. I said, what's up? He goes, how did he reply? He said, the dude says, hi back. Quote, I like him. He's good. I wish I had a couple $1 million so I could have a news agency with all of you. You know, Deb mentioned something like that. And really shout out to Deb and the other people. You know who you are out there. Kenneth, need I say more? I mean, the regulars are the superstars of the show, like you are. You know, you make it awesome to log in and check in each day, and your kind donations, it really helps keep the lights on. That is the point. Like, we want to grow this show. It's a good show. Like, we have fun and we get serious, and we're trying to hammer things out, and we do a good job. But I got that totally random message 10 minutes ago from my two buddies. I was covering the political conventions last year, and that shit was all out of pocket. I don't even want to bore you with the thousands of dollars it cost. but it was many thousands, tens of. Because we traveled to Washington, D.C. and had to get 3-4 days of hotels and all of the trappings that go along with going somewhere for a week, going to the Bronx to report for Real America's Voice, interviewed with Jack Posobiec, and Steve Bannon used our footage. Like, that was all out of pocket. It was all just like, it wasn't a job. So, anyway, this was a conversation with two colleagues that I've been at a lot of these events at different times, different cities. It's a great situation, really, when you have a group like that. You're like, oh, are you in there for the big riot or for the big convention? Or are you coming in for the thing? Hey, we're getting a big Airbnb. Do you want to get a room? All right. And so it's like, then you overlap, and it's like everyone has their own ecosystem of like a halo around them. They're like, I'm working on this project. I'm working on, I got an interview hey, can you film me doing the thing? Like this guy, I held the camera while he recorded a segment for InfoWars. And I was like, cool. Cause like, we're all out on assignment and we're cross-referencing, and help me out with this. Can you film while I do a man on the street real quick? Or can you, and it's like, dude, I'm here to like do things. Let's go make connections, create content, get some good interviews. But yeah, he literally just said less than an hour ago, I like him. He's good. I wish I had a couple $1 million so I could have a news agency with all of you. And I drove past a building where I'm at, and I see it, and I say it it's been vacant. I just want to buy the property. Now, I don't want to lease it. I want to buy it. How much do you want to just buy it? If not, I'll go build it, make this easy. It's sat vacant for 3 years. You buy low, you sell high. And I just said, this should be the headquarters. This should at least be this city's main corporate headquarters, and we need to launch. Now, I don't know where that comes in. I don't know where you angel investors come in, but I don't know if it's a lottery ticket. I don't know if it's some anonymous donation. I don't know if it's some sort of partnership, but that's on the heels of this. I read Alex Miles. I don't know who Alex Miles is, so don't hold me to this. And I don't really get into the woo-woo shit, but just there's a lot of conversations that are about the same thing right now. And I feel like there's a moment in time where things are happening, where there's a portal, if you will, or a alternate dimension, alternate timeline opportunity. It's like Yogi Berra said, when you come to the fork in the road, I say, take it. Man, he was the best with quotes. And if you don't get that, ask Grok to explain it to you. It's Yogi Berra was full of those thoughts. But this thing I just saw yesterday, and I looked upon the full moon. It says, within the next 72 hours, the answer you waited for finally shows up. Someone reaches out and says exactly what you needed to hear. A dream you gave up on begins to take shape. You feel lighter because you chose to release old pain. Forgiveness brings peace. And just bear with me. There's woo-woo stuff in here as well. It's just, there's just a general theme of the recent, and I'm finding it increasingly interesting. Forgiveness brings peace even without apology or closure. And come on, could this work for any one of you? Like, how about we think about this and we find a way to make this happen? Maybe there's subconscious shit we could be doing to go toward this stuff. But conversation brings truth and clarity that helps you move forward. That wish you made in silence suddenly starts to come true. A job message or opportunity arrives at the perfect time. A relationship starts to feel more honest, real, and mutual. You stop chasing, and things begin to effortlessly flow toward you more easily than it was for me to say that phrase. Emotional pain and blocks clear, and love feels easier again. You feel more capable than ever of creating what you truly want. Isn't that what we all want? We want to create what we want. The energy you gave now returns with real rewards and results. Something that felt uncertain now feels stable and true. Karmic energy clears because you chose growth over repetition. Your growth brings new people, better support, and calmer energy. Good vibes, Kenneth, right? Kenneth is my vibe check guy. He's also my ghostwriter for my comedy sets. I'm seeing a way to put together 12 5-minute sets because that creates a comedy special of 60 minutes. And then what if you could try to actively work to create those? Every month, a new 5-minute set. In 1 year, you do a new set, a new hour. If you break it down that way, that's not hard to do. It's just 5 different topics for 5 minutes a piece, or 12 different topics at 5 minutes a piece. But yes, Kenneth is my vibes guy also. Like sometimes covering these stories, look, you're all here because you understand how crucial this shit is. You understand, like, we're literally talking life and death. They tried to explode Trump in Butler, Pennsylvania. 1 year ago, they tried to blow him up. How much more fucking serious could this be? Now, we get together and we joke and we have a good time and we try to laugh our way through this, or else it's going to drive us batty because we're trying not to lose our fucking humanity. But we know we all have. You can't cover this shit. The traumas and the catastrophes. When we were out in North Carolina, all the Hurricane Helene flood damage, doing a documentary. Thank you to Blake Wally for all of his great work on that. You don't unsee certain shit. You don't get to move on past certain shit. And we know the atrocities of government. And we're trying to find a resolution. We're trying to find a better way to navigate this bullshit. We're just trying to find a better way. And it's not easy. It's not fun, but I mean, it is serious. It's serious enough to just kind of go Paul Revere and say, hey, are you guys following like the top 100 things happening? Like, are you aware of just all of this? Because at some point, all you can do is be prepared. And that really is the message of Anima. Be prepared. I was telling you those lyrics, but it says, fret for your figure, fret for your latte, fret for your lawsuit, fret for your hairpiece, fret for your Prozac, fret for your pilot, fret for your contract, fret for your car. It's a bullshit 3-ring circus sideshow. Of freaks are in this hopeless fucking hole we call LA. The only way to fix it is to flush it all away. Any fucking time, any fucking day. Learn to swim, see you down in Arizona Bay. Next verse. Some say a comet will fall from the sky, followed by meteor showers and tidal waves, followed by fault lines that cannot sit still, followed by millions of dumbfounded dipshits, and some say the end is near. Some say we'll see Armageddon soon. I certainly hope we will. I sure could use a vacation from this stupid shit. Silly shit. Stupid shit. One great big festering neon distraction. I have a suggestion to keep you all occupied. Learn to swim. Learn to swim. Learn to swim. Because mom's going to fix it all soon. Mom's coming around to put it back the way it ought to be. That's not so subtly referencing a great flood, a great global reset. That can be literal. That could be metaphorical. What do you want it to be? What's the difference? Verse 4, learn to swim, learn to swim, learn to swim. Fuck L. Ron Hubbard and fuck all his clones. Fuck all these gun-toting hip gangster wannabes. Learn to swim. Yeah, fuck retro anything and fuck your tattoos. Fuck all you junkies and fuck your short memory. The further backward you look, the more likely you are to understand what's coming. Yeah, fuck smiley glad hands with hidden agendas, politicians, and fuck these dysfunctional, insecure actresses. Learn to swim. Because I'm praying for rain. I'm praying for tidal waves. I want to see the ground give way. I want to watch it all go down. Mom, please flush it all away. I want to see it go right in and down. I want to watch it go right in and watch you flush it all away. Yeah, time to bring it down again. Don't just call me pessimist. Try and read between the lines. I can't imagine why you wouldn't welcome any change, my friend. I want to see it come down, bring it down, suck it down, flush it down. That's the genius of the band Tool. And it's a really cool video we put together with really good visuals. It's on Rumble. You can find it. They took it off YouTube because I can't do a song inspired piece. Come on. But yeah, anyway, there's full moon tidal connections as well, but cycles, changes, rebooting. We talked about that yesterday, rebooting, hitting Control Alt Delete, a hard reset. So this full moon tonight thing, let me wrap this up. It says, emotional pain and blocks clear and love feels easier again. You feel more capable than ever of creating what you truly want. The energy you gave now returns with real rewards and results. Something that felt uncertain now feels stable and true. Karmic energy clears because you chose growth over repetition. Your growth brings new people, better support, and calmer energy. That's where we stopped because Kenneth is a vibes person. We're dealing with all this life and death shit. Trafficking of humans. We got slaves working on weed farms up in California. How many hundreds of thousands of children are missing in this underground situation? What the fuck is going on? So I got to keep my vibes in check. Kenneth will remind me from time to time, vibes. I'm like, all right, fine. Because this shit will make you mad. It'll drive you nuts if you let it. You have to build some sort of emotional wall. Like to be a first responder, a paramedic, a firefighter. You're going to see horrible things, but you're there to help. You're doing the best you can. Calmer energy and better support. The past no longer holds you back. You finally feel free. You're ready to build what matters most to you now. And you're allowed to change what that is from time to time. I've had musician phases. I've had podcasting phases. I've had working on other projects phases. I've had comedy phases. We have different phases of life and phases of the day, phases of the week. Maybe you do this a little bit. Maybe you're all in on one thing. Maybe you mix it up. Building what matters most to you now is the main point of this. Building what matters most to you now is what matters. This marks the moment your reality reflects your deepest dreams. Just want to share that with you because it's kind of interesting. And we were together in Chicago for the Democrat convention. We were together in Milwaukee for the Republican convention last year. You know, we've all demonstrated our desire to be a part of the conversation in a way that isn't disrespectful to the people that spend some of their energy listening to us, talking to us, working with us, funding us, all of it. Just now getting the Rumble comments up. Nick Adams, blink twice if you're tardy to the party. Yes, well, I'm definitely tardy to the Rumble comments today. And yes, I did a little bit more show prep than I intended, but that's going to happen sometimes. Look, I do think when I settle in, and I'm realizing that I sort of have settled into noon. I'm trying to stick to noon or at least noonish. But when I was working, like doing co-hosting shows with Blake, it was different. 3 o'clock had to be 3 o'clock. My thing was starting on time. His thing was ending on time. I wasn't the best at ending in a prompt enough manner, and he wasn't the best at starting early enough, ready to go enough to just launch at a very specific, or at least we had conversations about it, rather. whatever. It's great when we all. The funny thing is it relates to Blake as well. Blake was, of course, we were teamed up January 6th. That was a whole thing. But yeah, I said it's time to manifest the resources that we need in response to that other journalist saying, "I like him, he's good. I wish I had a couple $1 million, so I could have a news agency with all of you." My comment, I got it chambered. I haven't released it yet, but it says, "We would all want to run our own news agency, though." It's like, I think we all really, at the end of the day, want to do things our way. And that's why many of us don't end up partnering up with an organization. I am capable of it. I'm open to. I'm very open to it. I just have spent very little time actually reaching out to inquire about such opportunities. Not to say I haven't. But yeah, just kind of doing things our way. But, it is possible that my schedule will change and this show will need to go into the evening. It's possible. Likely, unlikely, I don't know. More than 0, less than 100. So somewhere in there. But I do like the concept. I like the idea of setting an exact time on this date at this time. We're going to do our thing. But, I'm also allowing myself the creative flexibility here to innovate on the fly. I'm allowing a little bit of that. We talked about freestyle rap. Are you back on X, Nick Adams? Let's get the comments rolling. Nick, you were banned off of X until today. Are you back on? Patriot War saying 911. What's your emergency? Where the hell is Brain? Oh, you called me Brian. Yes, a lot of people call me Brain. Feel free to call me Brain. It's a long story, but it's a name that's followed me my whole life, and I roll with it. Yeah, I'm allowing myself a little bit of creative flexibility. So I'm asking if Nick Adams, ATOMZ, it has the ability to tweet at American_media_. Let me put our destination locations at the bottom of the screen. You can follow us on Instagram, Facebook, Truth Social, Rumble, Odysee, Twitch, Kick, DLive, and YouTube at the New American Media. Scrolling at the bottom of the screen if you need to pause it. We're on Telegram and Signal at TNAM and TNAM Chat, on X at American_media_, and subscribe to our podcast at the Agree to Disagree Show on Spotify and Apple. So follow us in those places. All right, Nick is on X. Yes, you're back on X. Followed and shared the link. Cool. So that would be... Oh, there's Nick Adams, 21 minutes ago. Followed me. All right, you liked and you reposted, but I need you to tag... I need you to share the freestyle rapper and put TNAM music, hashtag TNAM music. Deb commented on a previous TNAM music episode where I was with Jimmy Church and Anomaly out at the NAM convention in Anaheim. And I do miss that. I miss the proximity to Los Angeles. I miss the connectivity of jumping into all these events, and there's so much energy. They're intergalactic lily pads. They're jumping off points. There's a lot that can be said for that, such as, going to major events and covering it for the news. But yeah, Deb was referencing a previous post that I think I shared. I pulled it up to play a clip, and then I shared it out on X. But yeah, Nick, whoever that freestyle rapper is, do hashtag TNAM music and say, he's one of the best freestyle rappers along with such and such. Tell me who's on your Mount Rushmore. And then I'll share it out with your link there. I want you all to start connecting with me a little bit on X if you can. Because you can share different stories to us that we can put out to our I don't know, thousands of followers. And then when we do the show, it could already be sitting in the stack as something that we could discuss. We could play on the show. So help us collate the news a little bit. Let's not get it all spammy, but yeah, as much as you feel like participating, that's what we're here for. The new American media is all of us. It's all of us with cameras. It's all of us with opinions and the desire to chime in on the important events of the day. So yes, we are live. But for how long? You know, that Anima song that I was telling you, it's all about a great global reset. I mean, between the floods and the fires and the stuff in our skies, the stuff in our diet. It's like what are we, what's even the stuff being injected? Like what is even happening? Are we just an alien ant farm? Great cover of Smooth Criminal. Oh, my band did an awesome cover of The Way You Make Me Feel. That's on YouTube on a deep cut. If you go to I like YouTube just fine. I like the letter YouTube just fine. That was my first channel that I created. Yeah, we covered The Way You Make Me Feel and did it at a live music fashion show. That was fun. I was singing in that one. Because I've had different phases of my life. I've been a musician. I've been this. I've been that. I've been da, 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 da. So yeah, we need to be focused on creating what we want to create now. And I think what we're trying to create is a good bubble dome that we live in, a good marble called Earth. There's ways to put systems together that we can have that are really going to be helpful for the people. And then there's ways that we can just bend over and get abused by people. I thought we were trying to get away from that slave mentality of like, you're my property and I'll abuse you as much as I want. I mean, isn't that the story of Epstein? It's not about Epstein. It's about the system that put that together in the first fucking place. How long was that reaping benefits? How many are implicated? Everyone? You can't participate in this system unless you're like, that's the best we got. I don't know. I wonder if we can do better. And I think that's why we joined the new American media. Oh, let me change the graphic. It's not the Agree to Disagree show. I mean, it is, because it always used to be. But I think when Blake and I were working together, it was just a hybrid of like, it's a new show. It's a Brian and Blake show. It's the Agree to Disagree show. It's a weekly. It's a twice a week. I wanted to go daily. He had once a week or twice a week, Tuesday, Thursday. It's all fine. There's room in everyone's ecosystem to do whatever it is you want to create. But I think there was like all right, well, maybe Agree to Disagree should just be like my long form interviews. Nick Adams found us talking to Adam Kokesh again. Some of you, if you haven't seen it, go back a month and watch my extensive interview with John B. Wells from Caravan to Midnight, one of our regular guests from the 14 years we've been creating content. You know, those were essentially the Agree to Disagree show when we have like a special guest on. And so in some ways it's like, is Blake the special guest? Is he a co-host? I'm like, I don't know. We're just doing shows. Copy them, save them, put them out on your channel too. If you want to do other shows, do your own other shows. Let me do a daily show, and then we'll still do a twice a week together show. I don't know. I'm down. Like, I'm here to work. I'm here to create. I'm here to figure out what's going on, here to have a good time. And, you know, working with somebody else is cool because they bring different things, stories I'd never heard about. And by anchoring one aspect, it allowed me to open up and really kind of focus on other things. And it's all good. You know, it's all good. It's all part of the process. But yeah, tag us on X as much as makes sense for you, but it's a great way to communicate in between our shows is sort of what I'm getting at. All right. But yeah, it's been a year since Trump. My question of the day. Tell me, QOTD. Where were you in what was happening when you first heard President Trump was shot? Question of the day. Here, let me pin that. Maybe that'll stay there. Type in QOTD. What was your story? Everybody's got a story. I was at dinner. My friend receives a text message from someone who is part of our extended family that the president was shot in Butler. And then it was quickly jumping onto a phone, trying to watch videos, trying to get caught up on what video, different angle, different take. Who's got the takes? What the hell's going on? Is he okay? He's like, where are my shoes? I'm like, is this dude brain dead? Like, is he powering down? What's happening? And where are my shoes? Like, I just saw blood come out of this guy's head. Like, is he suffering permanent brain damage? Like, what's happening? Of course, we had guest John Fugel saying on, because he had posted that he didn't believe that Trump was actually shot. I don't believe that I ever saw any information that led me to believe that that take was a good take. I called him out for having a shitty take. But once I had him, I didn't dwell on it. We talked for a couple hours. I mean, what's the point? Maybe I missed out on a viral gotcha, or I confront him on it. I get him to say something stupid. And I know the media runs on that. I get that. I wasn't in the mood. Maybe that's not how I'm wired. Maybe you have to have a certain malice in your heart or a certain cruelty to you. Or maybe I just wasn't in the mood. Maybe I'm totally wired that way and there's nothing wrong with that. But when I was in Chicago, I wasn't really in the mood to start getting into it with all the leftists that were out there in the streets, burning American flags. I don't know. There's the rule of stupid. You're not supposed to go stupid places with stupid people and do stupid things, you know? But where were you? QOTD. Where were you when it happened? And like what other, the second part of QOT, and like what other vivid memory moments are attached to that moment? That's actually a good way to phrase that. I guess I can't edit that. But that's also what I mean. When I say, where were you and what was happening when you first heard? I also mean like what other images. It's like someone's Icons 2020. Do you mean that's the Rumble channel? I believe I subscribed. I believe I went there. Is there anything in particular, Kenneth? Deb says you and Blake are both better solo. In what way do you mean? I'm all ears. David says another week, no big arrests. 100%. Deb loves the impromptu acoustic guitar serenades to your audience. I did move the guitar. I didn't plan on making that a regular occurrence. The music again is, let's see, hashtag TNAM music. Yes, that's the one to tag, please. TNAM Food and Drink, TNAM Preparedness, TNAM School Indoctrination Network, SIN. TNAM's The Agree to Disagree Show on Facebook. These are all groups on Facebook. I don't promote Facebook because they hate me so much. But I have private groups with thousands of people in there. TNAM Food and Drink, TNAM Grow Something, TNAM Animal Rescue. Go back and rewind it. All these groups. Maybe I'll type them all out and make it turn into a screen or something. That's what I really should do. Put all the Facebook groups into a voiceover, clip it into a 10-second clip that I can just play and it'll go through all that. It's probably for the best. But yeah, TNAM music, please. The regular crowd shuffles in. Deb saying, if we're going to discard the Epstein list, show us the Epstein videos with the guilty parties involved. Well, look, I'm Cash Patel. I got put here because you trust me and you know that I'm ardent about this. We're not going to re-victimize the victims by playing these videos. Also, there are no videos. Like, come on. Like, these guys are blinking SOS to us. When I say, go to CISA.gov/rumor control for countervailing views, CISA.gov and CDC.gov and WHO.int. I say these to you under duress. Do you know why I do this every time I have to do that? Anytime we talk about vaccines or the rigged 2020 election or the completely 100% free and fair election of 2020. In fact, the only free and fair election in the history of elections, according to the people that want you to know that there are countervailing views to anybody who disagreed with that. Because Reed's notes, insurrection or something. Because it looks like someone's holding Bongino and Patel hostage right now. Does someone have blackmail hostage material on President Trump? That's one of the most likely options here. Is it the most likely? I don't know, but it's top 3. Another one is that Trump turned the tables and he's negotiating a full stand down and surrender from the people behind it. But in order to believe that, you'd expect to see perp walks, hundreds of thousands of unsealed indictments. I've said before, the best part of every day, like when Ben Affleck says that to Matt Damon. Matt Damon. Type in the comments if you know that Easter egg. Matt Damon. And then the story of that joke and where it came from is pretty great too. Little inside baseball. He says, you know, the favorite part, I love you, pal, but my favorite part of the day is showing up here at 6:45, honking my horn twice, and it's that brief minute before you open the door, because I just wonder, could this be the day that he doesn't answer this door, this horn, to come out for this bullshit life? Let him go achieve what he's capable of achieving. He's like, me, I'm stuck here. It is what it is. But you've got something. Why don't you go do something? He's like, my favorite part of the day is when you might not answer that car horn. You know, my favorite part of the day is before I grab my phone, because like I could open up my phone, do my eye print analysis. Hello, scan my retina, please. And could you imagine the number of text messages, Instagram direct messages, Facebook mentions, all the things, just everything is loaded up because it happened. It finally happened. At midnight, they conducted a coordinated nationwide such and such, and they got them. They got them all. Is that a big endeavor? Is that something that would take a while to put together? Yeah, maybe. Could Trump be pretending to like negotiate a thing? And he's like, you're still talking about that guy? It's almost a desecration to talk about any other story than not that story. Are they barely playing the part of going along with it while they're getting ready to pounce? That's a trust the plan thing. Now you get back into that shit again. Go back to sleep. That's another Maynard James Keenan lyric. Go back to sleep. Don't fret, precious, I'm here. Step away from the window and go back to sleep. And in that song, you're swinging to the rhythm of the New World Order and counting bodies like sheep to the rhythm of the war drones. The boogeymen are coming. The boogeymen are coming. Put your head down, go to sleep to the rhythm of the war drums. Israel, Palestine, Ukraine, Russia, our southern border. I mean, there are hotbeds of things happening, flare-ups across the globe, not to mention China or South Africa. Trump's out there trying to sort out Congo, but we're just pretending Epstein never happened. We're trying to unpack this. But 1 year later, what do we know? It's been how many years of Epstein? So show me the list. What have we confirmed? Lay it all out. Oh, no, it's still part of an active investigation. Bitch, you've had 6 years. Lay it out. You've declared him dead. Lay out the fucking case. And where are the charges against the perpetrators? Well, we can't do that. It would cause so much harm. So that's our system. That's what the Constitution wrote. That's how we determine policy in the United States. Show me where that's not harm. Show me where trying to blow his head off is not harm. So yeah, we get together and we unpack the news and we try to figure it out. And we're guessing. We're doing the best we can. We're trying to be accurate. I don't think I hold policy positions strongly if I know them to be likely to be inaccurate. Oh, I have recreational beliefs like crazy. Of course, we all do. And by that, I just mean like, what if? I wonder, what if? That's all. That's all that means. But that's what I envision for the new American media. That's what I envision for the TNAM Daily Show, a place to get together and chat. Jen Adams, hello. I don't recall you sitting at our bar before. Would you kindly let us know where you are watching from? We got Kenneth in Florida. We are under the United States rectal exam, and it's not going so well. Well said. Kenneth from the armpit of America down in Florida. Or the rectal exam location. Maybe because it's so hot and humid. Anyway, sorry, I'm getting gross. But Kenneth from Florida, Deb from California. Oh, wait, Nick Adams is saying Jen Wifey. Wait a minute. Did Nick bring his lady along? I'm unpacking the comments here. Hey, sweetie, hope you're having a good day. Thank you for putting me onto this. Well, now, I guess you did have homework yesterday. Did any of you send a copy of our show to anyone to try to bring him into the chat while we talk about what's happening in the world? Armageddon, said the robot. The robot for the reboot. Deb says, Brian, this show is my daily therapy, and thanks for saving me a bundle on an office couch and needing a straitjacket. You keep it real. LOL. Thanks. It's all I know how to do. And I've needed to make sure that I have the ability to deliver you my thoughts. How many times do I throw random questions of the day or agree to disagree or, hey, bonus points. Can you tell me what Matt Damon is from? I mean, it's just like I'm dodging thoughts all day long. It's a lot it's an obstacle course. I saw Browns quarterback Dylan Gabriel selected, I believe, in the 3rd round by the Cleveland Browns out of Oregon. Oregon, who was the #1 team most of last year in college football, but he's a shorter guy, but he's athletic and he's talented. I mean, he's clearly capable, but he's not tall. So how will that translate in the NFL? But I watched a video with him and he was standing in this. Let me switch these. There we go. He was standing in this ring and he was kind of like on a platform. And there were these, the inanimate carbon rod. Bet you Kenneth knows about the inanimate carbon rod from The Simpsons. But imagine like stalactites hanging in like a horseshoe around him. And he's like standing there like, okay. And they're different colors. And you stand there and then one by one, they'll drop. And you have to reach out and grasp it. That's how my thoughts come at me. I'm in the middle of a thought and something drops. I go, oh, and I got to grab it. Yep. I reach out and I grab it. And I'm trying to maintain and focus, but I'm reaching out and grabbing all these thoughts. Everybody's wired differently. I have no idea how any of you are wired. It makes it interesting. It makes it fun. It makes it challenging. It makes it distracting. It makes it very creative, accidentally, creative, intentionally. It's all sorts, really. But it's honest to how I'm hardwired. And it's always been important that I can deliver the most me version to the most people possible. And that's, of course, been a challenge when you start getting progress and growth on your channels and you get zapped, you get shadow banned, you get demonetized. And that's happened to the New American Media this whole damn time. So the fact that you even know my name today it's informative in a lot of different ways. What does a college degree say? It's like, well, you're awesome at this thing. Yeah. Let's just start with a college degree says you decided to sign up for something and stick with something long enough to complete an increasingly complicated series of obstacles, challenges, side quests, and missions. You saw something through from beginning to end. You satisfactorily completed this journey. Congratulations, you beat this level of the video game. On to the next level. Doesn't mean you're great at anything. It means you beat the level. That's essentially what we're talking about. Moving on, advancing, getting to the next stage. It's the fact that I exist in podcast form. It's informative in the respect that this shows my desire to crack open my skull and share my soul while I still have the ability to do so. And that is what I told former libertarian presidential candidate John McAfee in our last conversation. I wonder if I can pull that video up. But yeah, it shows that I care. That sounds super douchey, though. It just means that I want to be doing this at this moment. But I'm so interested with what's happening, and I'm so concerned about this going off the tracks. I'm Paul Revere ringing the bell, like warning, like, oh my God, guys, does anyone see the problem here? There's a glowing, flashing red light. Like, guys, imagine the bridge is out and you're just trying to, you're trying to connect with people to keep them from, and then you're trying to also make phone calls and send texts to get people out to rebuild it so you can go about your normal business again. I mean, on some degree, at some level, we kind of have the right to just live our lives and be left alone. And it's like when our money's being devalued, like that's an attack. That's an attack on us. Inflation, this monetary control, these are attacks on us. They're messing with our ability, our right to go about our lives unmolested. It's abusive, these insane usury rates. There's cultures. Are you aware that there are cultures that look down upon usury? Are you aware of that? Well, then why don't we consider that and maybe reevaluate the systems we live within? Because it's up to us. When in the course of human events, you don't like the system that you're in, you build a system that makes sense. And there are counter-revolutionaries that want really awful ideas that are very loud and very well-financed and very aggressive and very violent and very, very chaotic, very catastrophic, destructive, malevolent, malicious. There's a lot that we're juggling here. There's a lot going on. And so it's been hard for me to justify devoting my time and energy elsewhere. Especially when I think I'm capable of jumping into the conversation with anybody and having a good conversation and pulling, there's a lot of media that's a gotcha. And I've interviewed plenty of comics along the way, and it's not like I haven't done my fair share of man on the street, but usually my style isn't to make fun of somebody. Usually it's just to listen, try to drag out what's in your heart. What are you thinking? And that's the process. I want to do this in a manner that makes sense. And maybe that's what we're manifesting together. Anyway, Deb says it's her daily therapy. Thanks for saving me a bundle. Appreciate that on therapy. Kenneth's working on a digestion project right now. Okay. All right, Kenneth. Okay. Can I get a Wuhan? Wuhan, China. Oh, yeah, there's a story in the news. We're going to get to the news in just a moment here. We'll pull up our Instagram feed and our X feed. But yeah, there's another story about U.S. aid sending viruses and bioweapons to Wuhan, China again. Can you, I mean, we're screaming for accountability because we've lived through the past 5, 10, 15, 20 years. And it's insanity what we're dealing with. Insanity, pure insanity. Jen says, Brian, you don't understand what your show has done for Nick and myself. I don't, Jen. Jen, tell me. Brian, you don't understand what your show has done for Nick and myself. We thank you and are so glad to see you daily. Are you going to make me cry with an awesome story? Plot twist. Nick and Jen are split personalities. I have 2 laptops, and I'm going to talk to myself. There is no Kaiser Soze. I don't know. They said, sir, Nick might be Jen. President Trump, I don't think that's remotely possible that split personalities is on the Diagnostic Statistical Manual 5. It's clearly not a thing. All right, well, tell me more, Jen. Tell me more. Kenneth is semi-retired. I read that semi-retarded. I know you weren't typing that, and I don't believe that about you. And I didn't even see the hyphen. But my brain couldn't stop laughing at the fact that could have said, Kenneth, I'm semi-retarded with plenty of time, so I listened to your show. Kenneth, I too am semi-retarded with plenty of time. Oh, God, is that funny? Semi-retired with plenty of time. Deb and you were on Blake's show yesterday. Are you two normally on Blake's show yesterday? Fun fact, I also clicked on the X link and I had it on the background. I might have dropped a comment or two. I don't recall him reading one, but I was also working on another project. Fun fact, I used to listen to Blake on Freedomizer Radio years and years. And I would be working a job in the universe. I'd rather do this and have more than enough that I need to cover everything each month. But yeah, throughout the 14 years of the New American Media, it's like I've also worked jobs and I've been building this piece by piece, brick by brick, piece by piece, like the Johnny Cash song about building the Cadillac piece by piece that he steals each day. But yeah, Blake would do his eccentric perspective show, and I'd be making phone calls and shooting emails and doing research, and I'd jump in with comments all the time. We play tennis with I wasn't on the show most of the time, some of the time. And then sometimes I would call in. So do you normally check out the show? But yeah, I happened to see it, and I happened to be working on something, so I just had it on the background yesterday too. All right. LA stands for lame ass. No, it's Lost Angeles. Lost Angeles. Those lyrics are to Anima by Tool. Aenima. It's like anima and enema. Anima's, well, you can Google that. There's a specific situation there. And enema is a flushing out, a reset. Nick says it sounds like a metaphor for revolution. Yeah, watch my video. Maybe I can drop it in the chat. I don't know how this works. Let me go to my content, search. Okay, I have it here. Edit. No, I don't want to. I just want to share it. Copy it. Okay, so let me know, does this work? If I post this, my lyric analysis video of Anima by Tool. Here, let me know if this works. If I drop this link here, will it take you to the Rumble link? Can you click it on your side? I can only see this from my side. All right. Yes, it is a metaphor for a revolution. It's sort of like the Anunnaki. It's like the Noah story of flooding the earth and hitting reset. It's about the poles shifting from one axis to another, so it sloshes all the water. And if you've ever been to Arizona, you'll see fossils. I actually wrote those lyrics. Learn to swim, see you down in Arizona Bay. We stopped off at some museum in Arizona that had fossils, and I wrote that in like their guest book. But that's what it's about. And it's also a metaphor for revolution. It's also a metaphor for being ruled by tyrants. Maynard is an absolute genius. Don't sleep on his band Pussifer either. David says Ron was a part of the Babylon Working Project. You mean L. Ron Hubbard? Is that what you're talking about? And what is the Babylon Working Project? Maybe I don't know it by that name. Like the crazy man found on a psychopath. Psychopath? Psychopath. Woo! That's great slant rhyme. Psychopath. Damn. Hello, Lake Leon. Where are you watching from today? Thanks for joining us. Patriot Warrior. Howdy. I'm watching you, Patriot Warrior, over here on Rumble. By the way, Rumble's cool. If you let our ads play, it's like tossing a penny in the wishing well, and they have super chats or Rumble rants or something. But yeah, shout out to Rumble. If you're not on a Rumble account yet, you should link up. YouTube, since Google took over, they really don't like this information getting out. So it's been hard to build a platform on quicksand over there with them. So please join us on Rumble. Kenneth says his cat says meowie back. All right, cool. My cat is well satiated and napping now, it seems like. Deb was saying about the difference in shows. Everyone has different strengths. Yeah, that's right. Good day is often said in the Ottawa Valley area. Good day. Deb says, follow Tucker's lead. Doing your own opinions and style pays off even when you think it may not. Hey, I'm ready. Trying to figure out the revenue streams, trying to figure out who to partner with, trying to figure out that whole dynamic. I'm focused on putting a show together and having fun, making it interactive. I remember a previous bar manager says, you're the best bartender I have ever worked with in 35 years. I've never seen somebody connect with the audience the way that you do. With the crowd, with the regulars. And I've been a bartender for a lot of my life, and I'm a conversationalist, and I'm generally interested. I try to have fun and play characters and be funny, but thought-provoking, interesting, if nothing else, but to try to get other people to talk. And it's not just about getting them to talk. It's just by the act of being me that happens, because we're all in it. We're all participating in this event. There's a radio that delivers you a message, or there's a walkie-talkie that can send a message back. So yeah, I mean, my own opinion and style pays off even when you think it may not. I mean, I'm just, every one of you who are part of that ecosystem. I mean, anybody that contributes to the show paying off in any regard, you're all awesome and appreciated, like more than I can explain. And we want to grow the show 10 times, 100 times, 1,000 times. I think we do cool shit. And look, like our show, we could do our hangout session, like we're kind of hanging out and we're talking to each other, we're asking questions, we're going through and I'm dropping you stories. We're not getting into the weeds with them yet, but this could be the after show, or it could be the pre-show. It could be, there's different ways to put the show together. I mean, I could just jump right in and start dropping stories, and I actually intended to do that today. That's not how it played out, because I'm allowing myself creative license to call some audibles. And maybe when you're trying to partner with somebody else, or you got a producer and you're working with another company, like we got a 4-minute segment. Come on, we got to hit it. We got to get to sell you that Metamucil commercial. Are you tired of the old American media? Are you getting grumpy when figuring out that you're being lied to? Then try our new pharmaceutical product, Tinambla. Nope, no. Actually, that's a bad name. That kind of reminds me of that awful tragedy. Does anyone know the Norm Macdonald clip I'm talking about? Oh, it reminds me of that awful tragedy. Okay, not Tinambla. Tinambisol. There, we'll call it Tinambisol. Side effects may include. Ooh. Squirrel. I've played it before, but I have this awesome video of this guy in Taos, New Mexico. Go to I like YouTube just fine. The letter U. I like YouTube just fine. Subscribe. That's my first channel. I have like my personal music for the Twist of Nothing, and I also have a video with a dude named Casper who is spitting freestyle, spoken word in Taos, New Mexico. I was building off-the-grid, self-sustainable Earth ships and filming a documentary that I still never finished. I have all the footage. It's actually zipped on a file. I'm trying to figure out how to unzip it. Because we're all good at some things, but maybe not all things. But if you had a network and everybody were together, all right, you do the things you're good at, and I'm going to do the things I'm good at, and things are going to happen. And it's going to take over and dominate. Yes, I'm back on X. Followed you, shared the link. Awesome. Deb, tell them what I said about your Tucker style. You tell people what you said about my Tucker style. I don't want to have to try to remember it exactly. Let's see if the audience agrees or disagrees with your assessment. All right, Deb, compare me to Tucker Carlson and ask the audience if they agree or disagree with you. David saying opinions are great. Major event was your drill sergeant. Major event. Easter egg challenge. Major event. What's that a reference to? Pop culture. A TV show. That's all I'm saying. All right. Let's continue here. I know a lot of indictments are still waiting to be opened, but what the F is taking so long? I know. It makes you want to just stop caring about this stuff. You just feel like everything's totally rigged, right? Why bother? Why bother getting involved in anything? Why care? And I think that's why Christians particularly, and a lot of spiritual people in general, why care? It's like, because you sort of feel like you're in a simulation here, and you're not supposed to, maybe you don't have to scream from your rooftops every day like a lunatic, but if you see something that just ain't right, maybe you're not supposed to just walk past it and put your head down and pretend you didn't. And maybe people that don't believe in an afterlife, they just don't give a shit. They don't like, they're just like, I'm just here to do whatever I want to do. I don't give a damn. I leave sorrow in my wake. I don't care the waves and the ripple effects and the problems that I leave behind me. Not my fucking problem. I'm here to take. I'll put child slaves on a farm in California. It doesn't matter to me. We'll put our slaves chained to the wall in Epstein's room, get some people drunk or high or whatever, falling into the whims of their most gluttonous carnal desires. By the way, in a consensual partnership, who fucking cares? Do whatever it is that you're into. You know, to what degree am I supposed to participate in the things that you choose to find awesome? I've never even loved like the locker room talk and bragging about conquests. I don't know. I just, it's never really been my thing. I'm sure I have told stories, and it's not my go-to. It's not my standard operating protocol. It's like when I do Man on the Street, I'm not usually trying to, haha, gotcha. I made you look stupid. Look at this idiot. And that's fine if that's your style. And that can be my style too. And with singing the right assistance and putting the scenes together and keeping things, yeah, you could do that on your own, or you could do that with a second person. But yeah, I don't know. I don't believe what I told John Mack. If I need to find that clip, but I just said, look, I don't know how this plays out, but if there's a God and I pass from this experience, I want to be able to look my maker in the eye and say, I tried. I don't know if it mattered, but I tried. I saw something. I tried to, you know, the TV show This Is Us. There's that house fire. And it's like, you know, you can try to, maybe you can't save everything, or maybe you can't help everyone, or maybe you can't fix everything, but maybe we should try. Yeah, that's just kind of like a driving link between, you see things taking so long and you go, I'm out. I'm tapping out. I don't want to participate. I'm taking the black pill. I don't know. I don't know that you can once you've taken the red pill. Deb, when the assassination attempt occurred a year ago, sitting in your living room watching it on live stream. Kenneth was at his brother's birthday, just at home online likely. Yeah. Lake Leon. Oh, there we go. I know Lake Leon. Now we got Patriot Warrior in 2 places. All right, cool. You guys got to be cool like Nick Adams and Patriot Warrior. Get a Rumble account just to jump over and say hi on the second account. Because you guys need to be able to find each other if YouTube shuts us down. Because YouTube, Google, they can sever our communication instantly. We got to link up on places like X and Rumble. This community needs to be over there. So I think that's what's going on. Thanks, Lake Leon, for jumping over on YouTube as well. And Rumble. A customer told me, did you hear Trump got shot? I thought he was killed and my jaw dropped. Because they were trying to kill him politically. Oh, by the way, they were trying to throw him in a cage while Ron DeSantis wasn't helping circle the wagons to protect him. Now, I don't know what it means to be accused of misdeeds by a porn star. Yeah. Little Ronnie D here. Helping defend President Trump, the standard bearer of the Republican Party. Love it or hate it, he tapped into a lot of the core issues. You might not like some strategy, might not like all of it, but that is the base of what MAGA is. And little Ronnie D jumped in as an opportunist. He's like, I'm going to try to run for president. Bro, how about the sharks are circling? Why don't you try to help? Try to get him out of there. Help you in Florida? Yeah, well, I could have done that without him. Look, my numbers were through the roof. You benefited from Florida having all the New Yorkers. There we go. That didn't make sense. T. Nambla. No, that's not a good name we should use. No. T. Nambian. No, that's too much like Ambien. T. Nambasol. Yeah, reminds me of Dick Ebersol. Who the fuck is Dick Ebersol? You don't know Dick Ebersol? Look him up. Hey, Grok, who's Dick Ebersol? Uh-huh. Oh, all right. I'm pretty impressive, but that's why I wouldn't know him. Yeah, my jaw dropped too. Oh, by the way, that was just me doing an act out that didn't happen. Welcome to the brain of brain. David was watching the Trump rally live. Oh, shit. It was on the 13th and it was 6:11. Mirror that. Oh, you mean like 911? I did look this up, Kenneth. Funny how CNN covered it. And I encourage anyone to look this up as well. But when I checked Grok and I was just trying to get a quick analysis, they were saying, no, it wasn't the first time that a Trump rally had been aired. I think they did 13 previously. That may or may not be true. If that's not true, tell me. But I think the meme that's the only event that CNN aired because they wanted slow motion footage of Trump getting offed. Maybe. I think I looked it up and I think that was debunked. So, as we share memes, I want to find out if any of them are based on incorrect info. I'm willing to be wrong about that, by the way, but I think that's where we left it off. Was it a squirt gun? I mean, that's sort of what John Fugelsang was trying to say. He's like, that was all just theatrics. Like that didn't really happen. Like who died in the background? Did that not happen too? What? I mean, we see the blood stain on where the Secret Service wasn't because the roof was slanted. Dude, they tried to take him out there. They tried to take him out Epstein style by throwing him in a cage on some bullshit trumped up charge after a statute of limitations had run up by a crazy lady who allegedly stole the accusation from an episode of Law and Order. It was absurd. They were trying to kill this guy every way they could. Oh, they missed on all those attempts. Let's try it on a golf course. I mean, we are so I don't even like to consider the alternate timeline, the alternate universe that would have existed had that attack been successful. I don't even want to manifest that. I don't want to think about that or consider that as a possibility. It truly was. Go, Yogi Berra, when you reach the fork in the road, I say take it. Things changed. Nick says he posted that freestyle idea. There you go. Deb says, I have to admit, though, when Trump got up and said, fight, 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 it felt staged because that was the exact scene from the first night when they shot King Arthur. Coincidence? If you have that clip on X, if you can find it and tag us on it and say it had the same energy as this, I'd love to see that. I don't recall that scene. Yeah, when it happened fast. Deb says her reasons are too lengthy to post here about your solo shows. I'll message you later, B. Okay. Jen Adams, quote of the day, I was working when Nick called me and told me Trump was shot. I couldn't believe it. Yes, I did my cash eyes. Gotta be careful. Mama always said if you do cash eyes, they could end up like that forever. I was running. I was cashing. Yeah, I couldn't believe it either. And you know what? I instantly was like, I had to process it, sort out what's going on. Hold on, is the guy okay? What's the? And I had to run home, and I had to get in front of my devices and do a live show. I was literally out there in the Bronx covering President Trump. I was filming the Trump speech at the Libertarian Ballroom after Bobby Kennedy and Vivek Ramaswamy and Dave Smith and all these people were on stage trying to get votes. I was a part of the story. I was there on January 6th, interviewing people. What happened? I was there filming the mostly peaceful protest as it ended. I filmed the end of that after being there at the very beginning of the day to do the man on the street at 6, 7, 8 in the morning. I think it was before 9 a.m. It was very early, 7 a.m. Up at 5:45, out the door at 6:15. Walk there 40 minutes, 7. So it was super early. But yeah, at the campaign stop, I was a part of that story. You know, like this is one of the most interesting stories that we've ever seen, that anyone could ever live through. And a year later, what do we know? That's kind of what I think I'm getting at. What do we know? 6 Secret Service agents have been suspended. By the way, do you feel as though you're getting a show and you're hearing about stories? I'm talking about the child slave labor in California. I'm talking about a year later, the 6 Secret Service people were suspended. We're going back, touching upon the Epstein case. Do you feel like you're getting news, or that this is the longest, most boring intro in the history of long, boring intros? Because I'm dropping the stories, but I don't have the screen up, and I'm not playing the clips, and I'm not reading you paragraphs from somebody's think piece from American Spectator, but I am covering the news. Well, I think we're also building community at the same time, and we're also reliving the moment. Where were you? Because who's old enough to remember, where were you when 9/11 happened? There's another question of the day. Type 911 and then the 2 dots. Type 911. Do the 2 dots. What are those called? Not ellipses, not parentheses. Colon, semicolon, colon. No Diddy jokes. Okay, fine. Make some Diddy colon jokes. No, don't. That's gross. No, it's hilarious. Do it. Do it, I said. Cha-cha-cha-cha. Anyway, it's so stupid. The good angel, the bad angel. No, you should totally do that. No, don't. That's not right. Don't take the Kenneth comment and say semi-retarded. That's not great. Your brain saw it. Say it. It's just funny because it was funny. Funny can be funny without being malicious. Yeah, but everybody's sensitive to that word. What, malicious? No, you what? No, I think we're all sort of That's what I love about comedy. That's what I love about humor. Just dump the funny out on the table. Half of the funny is laughing at uncomfortable shit. Like things that are not funny and you're supposed to be. Rip a huge fart in church. Just tear ass in church. Load up on bean burritos from Toxic Hell. They said, sir, they're out of Mickey D's. Give me quesadilla. What was that? Trump did a Cinco de Mayo with a taco salad from Trump Tower the one year. Rip a huge fart in church. It's the inappropriateness of it that's sort of, it's a pressure valve. It's a pressure release valve of the brain reckoning between uncomfortable things. And it's funny because it's true. It's funny because it's true. Which is hilarious, because if you have to say it's funny because it's true, it's maybe not as funny as you thought. Oh, why is it true? Anyway, David says at this point, I think let's see what happens with the indictments. I mean, we're stuck, right? We're stuck. Deb says blackmail material on Trump doesn't need to be pedo or illegal stuff. It could just speak to his character. Or like they said, I was previously asked during a Fox News interview, was I on Jeffrey Epstein's flight? And to be completely candid here, as much as I want the Nestle ingredients list to be candid, I was on the plane twice, but I was taking Cheryl and the kids up to a vacation in Punxsutawney or somewhere, some fucking place up there. Kennebunkport, I meant, or where the fuck are we at on the Cape? Where's Bella's chance? Bella, are you in the regulars today? What's that? The Kennedy compound up there. We have a few, but Cheryl and I, we took the plane with the kids. We didn't go to Fuckboy Island at all. Cheers. I need a throat lozenge. And even more so, I need a throat lozenge sponsor for the show. But you're right, Deb, blackmail material on Trump. Look, this, and it's not just Trump, it's everybody. Were you on the plane? Was it a private plane in Lewiston, Maine? Nick's going to make me say that every time. Yeah. That's funny. So Bobby Kennedy's going to get damaged if they release the results of the report. Like, well, you're on the plane. It's like, so? I didn't do anything wrong, except when I cut up a whale and a bear, and I tried to put the head of the bear on the whale, and that flip-flopped him like Jeff Goldberg in The Fly. I mean, who hasn't found a bear in the park and dumped a carcass and drank some scorpion semen as a shot? And then maybe found a whale and cut off the head, and then got some sulfuric acid in the pool and stripped the whale head of its flesh. I mean, who hasn't done something like that in their past, along with heroin? So yeah, there's people connected that might not have done anything wrong. But just guilty by association. I get it, but then say that so-and-so was in the outer rings of this because, yeah, they met at this party. He was trying to get people at this thing. They met at this event. They shook hands at the thing. They had a photo taken here. It was a private plane that they used, but it was that the airport used, and it came in and out of this airport, and I just used it. It was the plane, but Z-plane. But I didn't go to the island. I mean, there could be rings, outer rings. Who was on the outer ring of this thing? You want to say Prince Andrew? Oh, we took a picture, but nothing happened. I thought it was completely known what Prince Andrew was up to there. But now his travel restrictions are taken down. Everybody, they're supposed to put their guard down and say you got away with it. We negotiated a truce because you just lost a war, but we're not gonna throw you in a cage for what you've done. Would that be worth it? Would that be the art of the deal? Would that be a trade that you'd be willing to make? A controlled demolition. I gotcha. Checkmate, motherfucker. Could it be checkmate, MFer? Boss, D-plane. Mitch Hedberg has a joke about a king-size bed. Oh, I have a bed set to your specific requirements. I used to lay in my twin bed wondering where my other brother was. Kenneth said, I did have Kenny bunk beds. I used to lie in my bunk beds wondering where my twin brother was. Matt Damon. No, it's not Matt Gaiman. Matt Damon. Yep, Deb knew it. It was Team America. God, it's funny. And the story behind it, they got their dolls back, their puppets back, and Matt Damon's looked really stupid. It looked really slow. It didn't. So they just made him into a different character. I'm Matt Damon. And that's all he said the whole movie, I think. That was an audible because they found something funny and they went with it, which is, once again, the freedom and flexibility I'm allowing on this show so we can have a great place to hang out and talk about the news. Likely that the Epstein files are the final Trump card. Perhaps. But, Brian, there is no list. Weren't you listening? Yes, these are not the droids you're looking for. Lord, please, lasso it all in a bit. America's Wang. In Lewiston, Maine. America's Wang. What was that other one we said? It was like a cart walk and a cart. What was that one? a cart walk in a. I was supposed to write that down, but I forgot what it was. 102 degrees in Sacramento today. Goodness. Yeah, it's been living in the 90s, man. Wouldn't you all love to just do that? You could take $2 to Taco Bell and get like 3 bags of shit. Go rent a video game at Blockbuster. Living in the 90s, huh? You're in the hundreds in Cali. Yeah, a beautiful pool and air conditioning. That is the way to go. Or a basement. Man, I'll tell you what, a basement is the hack. My house, the cats love the heat. I do not worry about upstairs. I don't worry about it. It's there. And the cats love being in the heat, the hot heat. Middle floor is kind of normal, temperate. And then the basement, that's just naturally cool. I used to spend a lot of time in the basement growing up. My dad did not really approve of keeping an icy cold house and paying the bill that came along with that. So I had a lot of time in the basement, hanging out, playing music, playing video games, growing up. Yeah, basements are like, yeah, geothermal and all that stuff, building earth ships. It's the way to go. Deb says, Brian, today's agree to disagree question should be my comment on X about your Tucker style. See if the audience agrees or disagrees. All right, you're back with that. All right, yes. So, but you have to describe it. Kenneth says, I agree to a degree. Our resident wordsmith. All right, Nick says, your show has inspired me to finally do the same and start a show myself. I've been procrastinating for a while. Well, to be fair, Nick, you did speak it into existence by titling your account The Nick Adams Show. You left breadcrumbs to yourself. Previous Nick left current Nick breadcrumbs to himself. So, like John Teeter or Quantum Leap, Scott Bakula, great show. Or The Doctor. It's a lot bigger on the inside. Or like Trump, Barron Trump, John Trump, Tesla. You ever dig into that story? Time traveler Trump. We have Nick Time Traveler. Nick Adams, the time traveler, in a previous moment, I don't know when, whenever you started this YouTube channel. Yesterday, a couple days ago. How long has Nick been around? Did you join us as soon as you saw the Kokesh video drop? And did you have any takeaways from the Kokesh video? Like what jumped out at you from that show? And if I asked you that before, sorry, I'm trying to get them all sorted out. Yeah, I've had Adam Kokesh and Dean and Elvis. There was a whole bunch of people. We went to City Hall and we protested the homeless situation in Los Angeles. So yeah, I've been talking with Adam for a while. I think that's what brought you in. But how long has it been? So how long ago did you start your YouTube channel? Because that was previous Nick talking to current Nick to sort out future Nick. And that's the New Moon Nick. Yeah, there you go. There's your new handle. New Moon Nick. Well, it's actually Full Moon Nick. Yeah, it doesn't have the same ring to it, but. Wait, hold on. Did you say Bongino took a leave of absence, a disagreement with Spam Blondie? Is that breaking news? Is that a joke or is that real? Hello, Texas Voice. Good to hear from you over there on Rumble. Hit like, hit subscribe. And by the way, wait, do we know Texas Voice? Are they also in on the restream or just on Rumble? But Nick is saying, okay, so I guess how did my show inspire you to finally do the same thing and start a show yourself? Because I think the day you showed up, I was like, all right, well, let's do a show about it. Because you literally presented yourself as, hi, my name's the Nick Adams Show. And if you want to know a secret, that's how I met Blake Wally all those years ago. Deb said, I think Kenneth and Deb said they met me through Blake. Well, I met Blake because I found a YouTube video he made, and he jumped on the Agree to Disagree show on the New American Media 13 years ago. Oh, okay. You are Texas Voice as well. There we go. Okay. Oh, I see what's happening here. Okay. Sorry, I was glanced. All right. So that's you from one platform and Patriot Warrior Texas on this one. Got it. I'm learning. You should see the amount of Ring cameras, and I have 3 monitors. I have all the chat running underneath, all the comments. Then I'm going to get to our Instagram feed and everything. All right. So how did our show inspire you? You've been procrastinating for a while. That's awesome. I've had people tell me that my comedy, my stand-up, people impressed by how much balls it takes to do it. And that it's inspired them because they've wanted to do it for a long time, just like I did. I've wanted to do stand-up for 20 years. It's like, but God, had I started 20 years ago, I'd probably know how to do it already. I'm learning. It's a different platform. It's the same performance, whether I'm on a game show or whether I'm singing karaoke or whether I'm drumming for a rock band or whether I'm, it's all performance. It's just a different method. It's a different package. You got 4 minutes, be funny. And like, I like trying to be funny in the moment when something strikes me as funny. I like freestyling. I don't sit down and write, but that's a lazy way to do it. And it's okay if you don't want to do it. You don't have to, but it's also lazy. But yeah, when I heard that I've inspired people to do stuff, I'm like, hell yeah. It's those little moments you're like, well, I know we're making an impact. It's hard to see what it exactly is because we're getting so shadow banned. I don't know. But yeah. Deb says, Brian does inspire for sure. Well, thank you. How do I inspire? Deb, and thank you. Kenneth says, you need your own talk show, dude. Do you mean me? Isn't this my talk show? Or are you talking to someone else, Kenneth? You need your own talk show, dude. Or was that in response? Was I doing a voice at that point? Was I doing sketch comedy? Oh, I heard something's coming back with sketch comedy. It's going to be Larry David. I want to try out for that. I want to get on that. I want in. I've only seen a couple episodes. I can't remember the name of the show, but Hecklefish. My buddy Ted Distel, who helped create these graphics for me, he was the one. He's like, dude, you got to check out this Hecklefish thing. I forget the name. But Ted's the one that designed the intro for me, which is cool.
Your guide to the truth, thenewamericanmedia.com.
But that was the second one that I asked him to create. I'm sorry, that I paid him to create. I asked him, how much would it cost me to hire you to do this? The New American Media, from our birth, we've been working with Ted Distel. But we started with this one because we were at the height of the assassination attempts and the lawfare situation and living under Biden's regime after wrestling control of our country away 4 years ago. This is the first one we asked him to make, with the American flag being raised with a message on it. See, that one's a little darker, but I think it accurately represented how I was feeling, how a lot of us were feeling, how most of us should have been feeling during the Biden-Obama regime, watching the deep state do what it did to just You know, maybe doing the thing it's always done. But if we're in charge of the system we're living under, why don't we set up a different system? But if we don't hold those people accountable for COVID, for 2020, for the lawfare, for the civil rights violations of the deep state, Epstein, for all of these cataclysmic things that have been done, they're going to keep happening. And it would be awesome if we could break the cycle of that. Powerful people can still maintain some power, maintain power. Not like that. I mean, we've had to readjust things based on new information. And look, Bobby Kennedy, I mean, they took out his family. They took out his dad. They took out his uncle, whoever they are, right? Trying to figure out who are they. Was it the Bush-run CIA in Dallas that day? Leading up to 9/11 and the war on terror and beyond? Like, what are we... What are we talking about here? So yeah. Anyway, but that was the first image that I asked Ted to make, and Ted said, "Watch that Hecklefish show." What's that Hecklefish show called? The plums, the precious plums. I'm not doing the impersonation, but if you don't know the plum skit, look up the plums outtakes on YouTube or X. Find that and share that. It's one of Kenneth's favorites. The other one is inconceivable. What's that from? Easter egg question of the day. Yep, Deb saying she found myself through Blake Wally, but I know this, yes. Jen says, I motivated Nick to finally get him going with his show. You inspired him and you inspire us. Yeah, Jen, let's go. Let's go. Kenneth saying, soon, welcome to the Blake Late Night Show. Wait, is Blake, did you say Blake is doing a late night show, or what do you mean by late night show with Blake? Nick says, yes, Brian, we recently abandoned a lot of the media we were consuming, and your show is a nice, fresh start. Leaving the echo chamber that our algorithm created. Oh, fuck. You become a... Is that Papa Roach that does that song? Take your money, take your possessions, take your obsessions. I don't need that shit. And the lyric says, the things you own you now. So the algorithm is a thing that we built and it owns us. But you're breaking free from your self-imposed algorithmic matrixy situation. You're trying to break free from your own algorithm. What shows did you stop watching, Nick? Stopwatch. All right, so our show is a nice, fresh start. Well, I mean, you and your lady both seem to like it. What do you like about it? Oh, give me some more compliments. Tell me more nice things about me. I need to fill up my cup. It's fucking empty. Actually, my cup is literally... I don't want to show you my cup of coffee and dump it on my computer. Because believe it or not, maybe something like that has happened in the past. Not exactly like that, but it was coffee and it was a computer. But no, I'm generally curious. You're bringing up that. I had no way of knowing that. But while you're here, that's awesome. What shows did you set up on the shelf? And it's like, I tune in and I check shows out and then I set them down. I'm like, okay, cool. Like it's all right. It's all right. Yeah, it's cool. But then there's some that I keep going back to. I like Adam Carolla. I like Scott Adams. I mean, there's 1,000 that I'll see clips of, or I'll watch some of. I'm like, oh yeah, I mean, it's good. But like to hang out and really unpack it, I just kind of pop in and flip through the channels and go, what's up over here? Okay. Seen enough. Yeah, I'm glad that you're digging this show as a new, fresh start. David said, yes. L. Ron Hubbard. Yes, okay. That Ron. Nick, what is my preferred platform? I don't have a preferred, actually. I mean, PayPal is easy. Let me put the donation links at the bottom of the screen. Patreon monthly subscribers are awesome at the New American Media. Those are cool because it like locks in and it $5 a month, $15 a month, $100 a month, $1,000 a month, $10,000 a month. You know, like Deb was saying, and like my journalism buddies hitting me up from where are they at today, Chicago or somewhere, saying, I wish I had a few $1,000,000. Like, yeah, I'd love to get a few $1,000,000 a year and like run the operations. Just let's go. I would, you see the gist of what I would put together. And if I could step back from it and start putting program talent into time slots and focusing on the areas where I excel, like I can't wait to run it. Like it's already happened. I see it. I don't know exactly where the funding comes from, but like I'm ready. I think I'm ready. 14 years toiling. They asked Incubus in the late 90s, like, oh, what's it like having this overnight success? I think it was Brandon Boyd, the singer and djembe player. May have been somebody else, but I think he said, he goes, Incubus is an overnight success. He's like, yeah, we're a 15-year overnight success. We've been doing this for more than a decade. Like we've been doing our thing for a long time before you found out about us. And I guess that's how it goes, you know? Lin-Manuel Miranda was doing a bunch of stuff, you know, maybe getting some gigs, getting some roles, putting some stuff together, but till Hamilton, like it didn't really pop. Everybody, you know, where's your pop? I don't know exactly where my pop is going to be. I've been a guest multiple times on Coast to Coast AM. I've been on with Real America's Voice. I've interviewed some of the most interesting people in the world. And I do mean to put together a new intro, a new sizzle reel, a new intro reel. There's 40 other faces I want to flash up on the screen. And just if you've never checked out the Easter eggs, go back and check out those interviews. I am a conversationalist and I do need a show. And I'm giving you a show. But, you know, I mean, let's imagine I'm an average human being. What are the monthly expenses that an average human being needs to get by, succeed, thrive? You know, inflation's an interesting thing. How many thousands are needed each month just to, like, where's that break-even number? You know, I talked to Adam Kokesh being off the grid and, you know, he called me a pussy for not just jumping in and doing it and moving in with Earthships or getting a piece of land and building it my own. I'm like, yeah, maybe. I love the position I'm in compared to the position I was in when I was stuck in Los Angeles. And when I was in Los Angeles, that provided a lot of awesome things too. Not everything is good. Not everything's bad. But, yeah. I mean, there are ways people can get by on $1,000 a month. All the food, all the groceries. I mean, it's just by the time you get through insurances, right? So, yeah, it's just like what would the standard overhead cost be for TNAM, the New American Media, for each per year, per month? And it's like, well, what does that look like? And how do you get that? How is that put together? It's a business model. It's been done. But it's just tricky when you're so shadow banned on like major platforms like YouTube. But tell me how Crowder got around it. We interviewed Gerald A. Morgan. Right? It's A. The producer or the CEO of Louder with Crowder. Interviewed him in Milwaukee. Scott Pressler in Milwaukee. They found a way. So it's like, I just got to find the way. I don't know exactly what it looks like. But is there a preferred platform? They all have different things. I mean, anything on Patreon is just you can set it and forget it, and it's just there in perpetuity. By the way, leave everything in perpetuity. That'd be awesome. But I mean, for real, it's like then you can at least count on it. And then all the other ones are awesome too. They're the tip jar because I consider this a bar. I'm the bartender, and you're the regulars. At the bottom of the screen there, it's Venmo and Cash App at BrianEngelman. That's ENGELMAN. But it's at the bottom of the screen. Deposit. And then PayPal is fuzzinstallment@yahoo.com. I don't know why you can't just do @fuzzinstallment. You should be able to, but you know, ghosts in the machine, glitches. It's not like PayPal wasn't taking money from truckers and censoring for political speech and, you know, everybody doing what they can to silence and demonetize the people who are the most outspoken against their bullshit regime that's fucking us in the ass every day. if you want me to be blunt, yeah, it's been battling a system that's trying to keep the funding from people who are rocking the apple cart a little too much. And it's like, for the love of God, you can have an apple cart as long as you're not running over 35 people on the way to get here, okay? No one said you can't have an apple cart. But whatever the hell you're doing to show up here each day, yeah, you've lost the consent of the governed. Stand down. So in that regard, is that what's going on with Epstein? Stand down, and it's a negotiated withdrawal, a negotiated truce? Who knows? But we do know Trump's negotiating with every world power. Could he be negotiating with every world power, individual, and foreign entity who's been spying on us and abusing our people for far too many decades? Maybe, maybe not. But the waiting is the hardest part, you know? That's the worst. So that's what we're trying to figure out. Bill Barr's assistant was a bar, you see. Oh, a bartender. Ah, a bartender, don't you see? Deb says there's so much involved in partnerships that we'll never understand as an audience. Partnerships are very complicated. TNAM Nana 19. Nana 9. What is TNAM Nana 19? You're not doing the Batman. Na. Deb says she's too lazy to type it out all again. I think you can copy paste from whatever the messenger message was. She had a question about Tucker Carlson for me. Kenneth saying, somebody's a starseed likely. Do you mean Deb? Do you mean me? The do run. All right, Lake Leon's locked in. X, Rumble, Spotify, Facebook, Instagram, and Truth Social. That's awesome. Good reminder, Deb, don't forget to hit the like button. Multiverse. Oh, I love the multiverse theory that everything's happening at the same moment in time. David reminds us, we know nothing much, it seems. Nick likes the format and the news coverage while chatting. Yeah, we are chatting. We are unpacking and chatting. Kenneth is ready to fast forward the world. He wants to see it come down, suck it down, flush it down. Oh, you just sent the clip, the fight clip? It's a 7-minute clip. Where is it at? I don't know. Can you find me? I don't know where in the 7 minutes. If you can tell me where in the 7 minutes. Because I can't. The first 90 seconds approximately. Man, I'm juggling, trying to get that. I don't know. If you can, yeah, I can't find the clip. Sorry. Not at this moment. Okay. David, I was listening to WGRZ Sports Radio in Buffalo when 911 went down. Oh, geez. Yeah, I remember I was living in a house on my college campus. I was just off campus with my band, and I was up early watching the news, and I went around knocking on the doors like, guys, get up real quick. I'm like, get up. America's under attack. What are you talking about? I go, just turn on the news. I don't know what's going on, but it seems important. Nick, in 9/11, he was in middle school. They were told a plane hit WTC. I'd never heard of it before. I only understood the gravity of the situation by reading the adults' reactions. That's an interesting way to phrase that. And I heard someone talking about MAGA. I heard someone talking about the difference between Democrats, political pundits, and MAGA, conservative, libertarian. I don't know what you want to call us. Rational, normal humans. But we have open battles and debates over topics, and the best ideas tend to rise over time. And so we can scan the room for the 20 or 100 smartest people we know, and we get a general understanding of where we're thinking. What are some of the best opinions and takes on those topics? You know, the Democrats, they just read a script. So yeah, it is you want another Lewiston, Maine? No, that was an old one. Because I gave him a Lewiston, Maine. Martha's Vineyard or Kennebunkport? All right. Let me finish scrolling through these. I'm going to open up the news here. Love Mitch.
Are you talking about the Kentucky Congressman Mitch McConnell? Is that the Mitch that you love, Nick?
That's my glitch, McConnell. But I think you mean Mitch Hedberg. All right. Nick says he's had this channel for a few months. Yes, named it that to force myself to make a show. For now, it has some old acoustic covers and stuff. Yeah, that's what I did with I Like YouTube Just Fine, the letter U. There's cool stuff on there if you want to sift around there. Different artistic expression, musical stuff. And Nick says, inspired because you and I seem to have a lot in common and you make this look easy and fun. Ah, that's the trick, good sir. I've been holding court for many a decade. The communication part is the thing that I've been, I don't know, but then like the whole navigating the buttons and the software and the daily grind of it and all the different accounts and the copy, the paste, the setting up the RTMP, like that's a whole thing. But you only get better at it by doing it. It's like stand-up comedy. The only way you get better at it is by going and walking on stage at another microphone and talking for another 4 minutes and trying to get the most laughs possible. Or at least be interesting. Clever. Give me something. My stuff is clever, interesting. I'm trying to get as many laughs. And it's like, how do I dial in the laughs? When I feel inspired, I drop comedic stuff here. All right, so we're referencing what's going on. Breaking news. Dan Bongino took a day off work after a heated disagreement with Pam Bondi, and it's rumored he may resign from the FBI position. Argument is centered on walking back the Epstein list. You said a talk show interviewing others. Yeah, I love interviewing others. How many of you have, like, I haven't had too many interviews on this channel, but in a way, every show with Blake was both, I was interviewing him and he was a co-host, or I was the host, he was the producer, or we were co-hosts. And there are many episodes where I made conscious efforts to have Blake as the host. Maybe a couple of those were early, but maybe I unofficially found ways to do that from behind. It was just kind of how I was orchestrating the sticks at not the cathedral, I mean, I guess at a cathedral you would have a choir, but I'm thinking of like the full band, all of the woodwinds and the strings, a cacophony of sound, the orchestra. And so, yeah, there were many times in many different ways that I would have Blake doing the host things while I would focus on side comments. I'd focus on graphics. I'd focus on the next stories to pop something up and pull something. But it's like you can only juggle with so many hands, so many different ways. But that was cool. I really liked that experience. But yeah, in some ways I was interviewing Blake, and in some ways he was running the show, or we were co-host, whatever. But yeah, I would like that show interviewing others. It would help if I had a booking agent. I used to work as a booking agent. at the world's largest talent agency. That's a whole other version of me that existed. But yeah, I'd rather just say, all right, what are the topics? Get me that person that does the thing. Set them up for tomorrow's show or something in between. We can do a hit and we can do a pre-recorded piece. God, give me a staff. I don't mean Moses, let my people go. Like literally holding up a fucking staff, like a wooden rod. Give me an inanimate carbon rod. Or like Dylan Gabriel, the Browns quarterback, reaching for all the rods that fall because it's your peripheral vision. You're just you're reacting to it. You're moving fast. You're not thinking about it. But yeah, I hope I make it look easy and fun because I am having fun and I'm bringing a fun attitude to it. And if it looks easy, when I interviewed John B. Wells at the end of the show, he was like, you know, Brian, it's pretty impressive the way you've been able to grab some of these stories in real time and put them up on the screen. It makes me feel like what I'm doing is archaic from the prehistoric age. Sorry, I'm not doing a great John B. Wells impression, but yeah, he was mentioning that I'm making it look easy. Just if I let him talk more, because a good host will let someone else talk more than they talk. And I've had an episode. If you go back to my interview with John B. Wells about missing Malaysian flight 7 something, was 703 or something, Malaysian missing flight, I talked way too much. I was way too fired up. And I think it was just like one comment amongst thousands. That was when I used to put stuff out and YouTube would let our thousands of viewers actually see it. They just keep everything tamped down. And it's frustrating when you could talk to John McAfee and get 130,000 views in a day. So it's like, you know, you're just yelling into a wishing well. You're just, you're out talking to the trees. YouTube won't let your audience see your content. It's like, am I bad at this? Am I putting out shit product, or is it that the distribution network has decided they won't let anyone see my stuff? Why can't I earn enough revenue to cover all the bills doing this? But it's like, you also don't want to make excuses. It's like, well, some people find their way out of the hedge maze, I guess. But yeah, the point being, if I make it look fun and easy, I think that's a great compliment. That's cool. You know, John has said some things and other people have said about how I interviewed one guy, an anarchist, about preparedness years ago, 2016. He told my brother, he's like, I do shows all the time. He's like, your brother does the most professional podcast and the most professional show I've ever been on. I remember he sent me a text of what he texted him. He's like, you should see that. I'm like, oh, that's great to see, great to know. I guess I just need the right sponsors and the right viewership numbers. So where are they? Let's go. Why is the podcast not increasing in its reach? Why do some of them go to hundreds of thousands? What is the magic sauce? Is there someone that I need to partner up with to take these couple? Oh, we'll just do this. Make sure you do. Hold on. Do it this way. Don't do it that way. Make sure you tag this. Make sure you, and then rocket ship to the moon. I'll take that, whatever that looks like. Yeah, interviewing others is awesome. I do love that. But if someone could handle like the booking component of it, because I send messages all the time, it's just, I'm juggling a lot. If there was someone who could focus on that, booking guests, that would help immensely there. Also, the dispute over Epstein's suicide and not being murdered. Bongino is pissed. Oh, so Kenneth sees me doing a daily show, interviewing others with a monologue. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you tell me I couldn't do what any of these guys are doing? Of course I could. Yeah, if I had the staff of writers that Bill Maher has, you know, I could wear a suit. I'm funny. But if you had a couple writers to punch things up every night, and you had the revenue to keep the staff and the organization, like, and if everything was handled, yeah, if you had the resources to do that. So how do we pitch this show? Where do we, who's buying this show? Who do we license this show through? HBO, ABC, everything's kind of like on their own, the Tucker Carlson network. Well, people know Tucker Carlson. They don't know me in that way yet. I've meant to interview Tucker. I haven't crossed. I think I filmed Tucker on stage with Ben Shapiro, maybe at Politicon or something, but I haven't met him yet. But yeah, I'm just doing my thing. I'm building bricks. I'm putting foundation pieces together. It's like after 14 years, do I have the basement built? Can I put the roof on? Can we add the finishing touches, put the doors and the windows, run the plumbing, hit the electrical? Like where are we at? Yeah, I'd love to do a show with a monologue and stuff. That'd be awesome. It's kind of what I'd like to do with comedy. If I could get a cup, I have ideas. I'll tell you about that later. The Y files. Thank you. That's Hecklefish. David Band, not a big fan of Larry David. I know he's gotten very woke and very weird, or maybe he always has been, but I don't think Jerry's on board with it, which is interesting. Oh, Unholy Hoax, what's up? Great show today. That is Unholy Hoax's favorite phrase. Great show today. Great listen today. Down in San Antonio. Kenneth is ruled by the Lords of Laughter. I'm Al Gore's rhythm. Nick says he stopped watching Tim Pool, Alex Stein, Benny Johnson, etc. Yeah, Alex, that was an interesting. Hung out with him after a comedy night, recorded his set, put it up. He messaged for us to take it down. He hung out at our place. Was it him and the other guy and the other? Anyway, it's a long story. You stopped watching Tim Pool, Alex Stein, Benny Johnson. Synchronized numbers are God's winks. That was at 222. All right. Finishing the comments here. I've had fun going through the comments, but Brian and Blake's minds work differently. Everybody's mind works differently, I suppose, right? All right. Kenneth lives in Diverse City. Diverse City. Jen says, you have your staff. We're all listening, just saying. Well, you're not my staff. You're my peeps. You're my regulars. You're my favorites. You're my homies. Not quite staff. Anyway, let's hit restart on today's program, and we're going to dive into the news. But yeah, where were we a year ago? I wanted us to just go on a journey thinking about where we've been and where. I just want to think about where we've been a year ago. That Trump moment, man, was was it staged? Was it real? Question with boldness even the existence of God, for if he exists, he'd surely prefer reason than that of blindfolded fear. I believe that's Thomas Jefferson. I believe Glenn Beck drilled that into my head. We can question everything. We can agree to disagree on something, move on, and let's spend our time talking about the things that we agree on. Okay. So it was a transformative moment in American history. January 6th was, and Butler, Pennsylvania was a transformative moment. Patriot Warrior says, speaking of JFK, I need a good contact so I can get a hold of you email-wise. All right. John Boy, send me an email at Brian at the New American Media. Brian at the New American Media. About the JFK stuff. Yeah, we've had JFK stories for sure. All right. We're going to jump into Instagram and then through X and cover all of the breaking news right now. Lightning round of just the facts, Jack. Here on the TNAM Daily Show, division of the Agree to Disagree Show, here on the New American Media, because the old American media has failed you.
guide to the truth. TheNewAmericanMedia.com.
So, to those of you who don't know, that song is a composition of my brother that I've worked into the Twist of Nothing catalog. His solo stuff was elevated tracks, and he and I were musicians. I am a musician, and I like that song. I don't know, has that always been my intro song? I've tried out different songs. You've only heard the... So here's what I'm going to do. I think I'm going to upload new versions of my intro, and I'll probably do different opening music with it. But once again, I'm just the idea guy. It takes me years, much like you and your show, maybe. I could just sit down and do it, but I'm just going to think about it forever. If I'm running the operation, I go, all right, we got weekly expectations. Go through my videos and give me 3-second, 4-second clips of all the interesting people that we recognize. And then we'll meet in a week and we'll go through the, let's do that. We don't need that one. We'll do that. Oh, I forgot about that. Hell yeah. All right. Then the next week, just go ahead and put it together. Like Blake would do some of those things with the stingers, like these agree to disagree things. And Ted helped with some of the, the flag being raised intro for the New American Media. And, you know, I took the core things that Blake put together for the intro that he and I were using. And now I'm adding to it and I'm going to change it up. And, you know, it's just having a team. If there's a team that does the things that you need them to do, if you could be the manager of a team, all right, I want you to go out and play first base today. All right. Well, it's my job to oversee the whole team and all the things. Let me focus on this. And then, because I've never, I don't mind being out front. I'll be out front. I can also sit back and play drums, and I could also be behind the scenes collecting a residual check. I don't care. I don't need to be, I could be a ghost writer to your song. I don't need to be the one on stage singing it. But being a part of it, yeah. Like, I mean, imagine that new network that my journalist buddy on Telegram said to my other friend to tell me about, oh, if I had a few $1,000,000, I'd start a news network with you guys all in it. You guys are a good guy. It's like, yeah, I see it in my head and I see myself running it and holding these meetings, these daily meetings, and getting shit done because I've got a few people that work for me, and then the things that need to happen will actually happen. It's up to them to do their job for their paycheck to keep the things happening. I know what needs to happen. Not all of the things do I know how to do, but that's why you put specialists in those roles. I'm not going to be the field goal kicker, but I can be the head coach. You know, baseball's had plenty of player managers. I'll play first base and I'll be the coach of the damn team. Okay. I mean, if you want to, sure. Why not? But yeah, anyway, it's fun. I know. I like the music too. I know. I don't like change either. No. And I have listened to the drive you've given, Kenneth. Thank you. Kenneth sent something to our PO box. No, I like that music, but I don't have the royalties to it. I don't have the copyright to it. Like the estate of music is my stuff. Like that's my property that I can play because it's mine. Otherwise you get into copyright claims and limited distribution reach and such. So anyway, let's jump into the news and tell you what's going on here. This is Todd Spears saying this isn't Baghdad. This is California. Are you following this crazy story of the pot raids in California? Well, it is a story that just keeps on giving. Let's show you what we know.
Is happening at Wood and Laguna, and you now see the military vehicles advancing despite those protesters trying to make a stance and trying to stop the military vehicle from continuing on. And there's cameras rolling, cell phone cameras rolling, and this group of people are really trying to get this military vehicle to stop, and it doesn't appear that it will. It is continuing to push forward, and now the people are moving away from in front of that military vehicle, which is a good thing. We don't want to see anyone get hurt. But again, you see this grouping of military vehicles advancing toward the federal agents further down on the street. This is happening at Wood and Laguna, and you now...
Okay. So this is California. This is an immigration protest. And I'm trying to figure out, is this actually, switching screens here, if this is actually the same California pot story, if there's multiple. It says it's at the farm, but the text is right over the words there. Immigration, federal agents clash, something Illo farm. We'll continue. Hey, here's a good time to remind you that I do a show with Mike Barra. Trying to figure out, I was thinking about today, when is the best day to do this? I feel like maybe Monday's the best, but we had been doing it on a Thursday. And I'm trying to figure out if maybe we should do a Monday and a Thursday, or I should at least do a Monday, Thursday. Because on Monday, that's Monday is the most for the NFL season. And I do another show called the Unhappy Hour Sports Show. If anybody wants sets of these, send me a message. But I also have a show with Mike called Strictly Football. And once a week we cover football stuff. But yeah, Mike Barra shared this yesterday. So hopefully we'll have an episode coming up soon. I was like, God, we got to do another one. Training camps going on and starting to figure out how our teams are shaping up. He's a Seahawks fan. I'm a Browns fan. So stay tuned for that. Yeah, we do TNAM Daily Show, the Agree to Disagree Show, the Unhappy Hour Sports Show, Strictly Football. So there's a lot of things. Also, I'm a utility infielder, I guess, at Toxically Masculine Tuesday. I've been a fill-in guest there on multiple occasions, as needed if people are out. Whatever's clever. You know, we had been sharing a studio, and that kind of helped things. We got to talking. So, yeah. Mike shared this on his Instagram feed yesterday. So right there between Puerto Rico, Florida, and Bermuda, you got Pam Bondi's desk, apparently. That is hilarious. Well, there you go. Here's Pam Bondi, the in-action figure. She's got that stupid look on her face. I really dislike Pam Bondi. I really dislike her. You got to get them with sarcasm and humor. All right, here's just a reminder. The further backward we can look, the more we're going to understand where we're moving forward or something. Fool me once. Ain't going to get fooled again. All right. But here's Fauci. Let's look back and remember what this asshole was up to and what they decided to lie to us about during Trump and Biden, and for what reason? Do we know for what reason? I mean, we have suspicions. Is it because they think there's too many of us?
But she's had the flu for 14 days. Should she get a flu shot?
Well, no. If she got the flu for 14 days, she's as protected as anybody can be, because the best vaccination is to get...
The best vaccination is to what?
Get infected yourself.
Oh! It's so interesting how it seems like he gave us a totally different answer when it came down to time to shut the world down and imposed really draconian control mechanisms. Or is that just me overthinking, overanalyzing, separating the body from the mind, withering my intuition, urging me to cross the line?
And
so if she really has the flu, she definitely doesn't need a flu vaccine.
Oh,
if she really has the flu,
she should not get it again.
No, she doesn't need it, because it's the most potent vaccination is getting infected yourself.
Wow.
But she's had the flu for 14 days. Should she get a flu shot?
Well, no, if she got the flu for
There's the perfect thing that Instagram does. It plays the clip seamlessly from the beginning. There is no lag. It's so hard to tell when a new clip starts. It'd be helpful if there was like a sound associated with that. That'd be mighty helpful. By the way, I'm going to act like Dan Bongino and Cash Patel here. For countervailing views on health and elections, go to cdc.gov, who.int, and cisa.gov/rumor control. Because, there are only certain versions of what Fauci says that you should pay attention to. And only some of them are relevant, and some of them are kind of relevant, and some of them are not relevant at all, and some of them are misinformation, and some are disinformation, like masks don't do anything, or everyone needs to wear a mask, or it's a virus and we should wear any type of mask, even though we're breathing our own recycled air and it's gross and full of germs. And if you can smell it, then it's not really being prevented from passing through this inanimate object. You might as well wear a chain link fence in front of your face, like the fake burqa or the bandana, or an N95, even if it's not properly sealed with facial hair and whatnot. Kabuki theater, or we're all just guessing, or we're just making it up as we go along, or we're just messing with you, or we're doing it for power and control. And if you don't fall in line, you're going to be destroyed. Yeah, that Fauci. So I saw that, wanted to remind you of what he was saying back before he changed his mind. Oh, but you see, the flu is very different from COVID-19. It's just totally different. Totally different. Totally different? Totally different. I don't know if anybody can say that with certainty. Countervailing views. Go ahead and get your countervailing views here. The dude here says, since the Epstein client list isn't real, neither is all of my credit card debt. I mean, if we're just making shit up now, how does that work? Is that how things work now? Here's a nice meme from the dude. I don't know why I found the dude, but had some funny stuff. And you could, John B. Wells often says you could either laugh or you could cry. So I'm going to choose some laughter. Kenneth calls it a vibe check. So here's The Office. Here's me watching my liberal neighbor's house being broken into by illegals while they were away attending a protest against deporting illegals. Whew. This one hits home. No, this one slaps. That's what I'll say. I mean, could you imagine the irony of such a thing? Oh, here's the best song I've heard all day. Have you heard this? Everybody stop what you're doing. Collaborate and listen. This kid's back with a brand new invention. Something grabs a hold of him tightly. Flows like a mullet. Daily and nightly. What is this guy's name? Wells Music? Jesse Wells. This is called The List. How dope is this? Jesse Wells. Jesse.
You got your bucket list, your grocery list, your list of things to do. You got a list of all your wishes, that's a wish list, dude. You got your Amazon and Santa Claus and Tooth Fairy too. But I know a list that don't exist, and buddy, so do you. It's the Epstein list, it's a mystery list. With a twist, it's a myth of a list that we all just missed. Be an optimist, not a pessimist. If you wish to persist, it's probably best you forget that list. Now what were we talking about? I don't remember.
You wish to persist, better
but I can sleep
list.
a lot better at night. Yeah, life can just go along, knowing there's 10,000 hours of sunshine and flowers and nobody doing a damn thing wrong. Hear no, see no, damn Bongino, Cash Patel. Well, I wouldn't wanna be a sweating man with bulging eyes. Now tell me them fellas ain't compromised. Any implicated dude will tell you. Anybody on the big list knows just how far the folks in charge will go to keep the status quo. So when the war bell rings, the song that they'll sing is a song that we well know. I hope. So it's off to war I go, with They said this gonna fix it, but now they're all complicit. They owe, they owe, they owe, they owe, they owe. So it's off to war we go. Send the poor off to war. What else are we for? They owe, they owe, they owe, they owe. Well, you got your bucket.
I mean, guys. Was that fantastic? I'm tempted to play it a second time. I'm not going to, but my God. You know what? I should share it on X. Jesse, what I say? J-E W-E-L-L-E-S. Let's see if I can find Jesse Wells, The List. Yeah, here. We're going to drag Dan Bongino a little bit. Hashtag TNAM Music hereby nominates Miss Jesse Wells. Oh, is it at Wells Music? I'm going to do this. At Wells Music. Song The List for Song of the Year. Kid's good. And that song was everything we needed. All right. You know, at a time like this, you do start to realize only one man can save us. I'm going to steal the Epstein files. Nicolas Cage. I've never done a Nicolas Cage. So instead of stealing the Constitution, I'm going to steal the Epstein files, he says. Only one man can save us, and we know it. Eric Weinstein on the truth of Epstein.
This is some unholy story. It has nothing to do with Jeffrey Epstein.
Let that. Have you thought about that? Like, you know this, but I think until I heard him say this, and I know it. I know exactly what he's saying. I know where he's going with this. I think I know where he's going with this. But it's not about one guy. It's not about one boogeyman. It's about the system that took how many people to participate in this and allow this and go along with this and play a role in this and keep this going. It's not about a guy. It's about all of it. It's not about the list.
It has to do with whatever this thing was. We tripped over a thing. We tripped over a structure. We named the structure Jeffrey Epstein. This was already going wrong in the early 2000s. You see, my sense of this is that this was a pre-internet plan that lived into the internet age and couldn't survive contact with the internet age.
Okay. But what are these Skull and Bones, Bohemian Grove, the Jekyll Island, pick the UN, what these World Economic Forum, whatever group, whatever gathering of whatever, the G7, it's not like this project was the only version of this. Did everything run through something like this? Or is this just the latest version of it? And it's always been this way? You got to do something compromising so that everybody knows you can't ever turn on them because they have dirt on you. You have to create dirt on yourself. Yeah, get your teardrop tattoo or something. Hasn't this always been going on? I don't know. Lots of questions, but I get his point that there's pre-internet things working their way into the internet age, and those two things cannot coexist.
You have these fictions like, that are put out by mainstream media or traditional news desks, which is nobody cares about that story. Well, that you can see from social media that that's not true, from the internet. So the internet is constantly providing.
We are the internet. The internet is us. They never planned on the power the internet would give us. And you're seeing a thrashing about of an old system that's ready to be replaced, but only if we have the courage to replace it. We're going to bend down, and we submit to our Diddy Epstein overlords. Where the fuck is that in the Constitution? I don't think that's what any of us are signed up for. None of us agree to this. Well, you just don't get it. It's about so much more than this. Oh, is it? Clever, interesting of you to say, since it directly benefits you. Very interesting of you to say. Thank you for telling me about this sick organized group. Oh, yeah, CFR, the Council of Foreign Relations. Yeah, any alphabet agency. I mean, go down the list. The Triumvirate. Ooh, the Mike Myers one.
An ability to check whether or not these claims from inside the structure are true. And Jeffrey Epstein is an example of what I called an anti-interesting phenomenon.
Anti-interesting.
What's that?
Well, an anti-interesting thing is something that would normally be.
See, I don't know who he's being interviewed by, but you can overtalk an interview, and you could also undertalk to the point where he's just starting to he's done it a couple times where he's leaving hanging moments out there for the interviewer to jump onto and provide a transition, like some sort of or, oh, what do you mean? What do you mean by that? Just kind of keeping it going. He's like, am I talking to myself? So you can be too aggressive of a talker and not enough of a talker. I think the interview is one of the areas where I completely excel. I've been told this many different platforms, many different ways. I get people say, yeah, I got 30 minutes. I can do 30 minutes. I'm like, all right, cool. And they look up and it's been 2.5 hours. But I mean, at the end of the day, isn't that what you're trying to find? You're trying to find something, a show that resonates with where you're at. I think that's what Nick was saying. Yeah, there's a lot of overlap on the stuff you're saying, the stuff you're covering, and kind of what I'm thinking about and what it's yeah. It's like resonation. There's a frequency, there's a vibration, there's a vibe, Kenneth, a vibe. Z vibe. Anyway, just a note on the interviewer. He's he needs to kind of give him something here, but let him continue.
Be fascinating. Imagine, for example, you had a story where you could get a Pulitzer Prize for breaking it. Everybody cares. You sell papers like hotcakes, blah, 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 and nobody wants to report on it. And it's right there. You could just ask the dumbest questions, and it would New York Times says disgraced financier. Well, tell me, did you find his prime broker? Did you find the forms? Did you go to his offices in Villard House? No, nobody does ever. The story is anti-interesting, and it's very different than being uninteresting. See, this is one of the most uncomfortable things. I think there was a time when people said collusion or coordination, the presumption was, well, that's pretty far out there. We now know, post Elon Musk's $44 billion adventure at Twitter, that there are these coordinating groups coordinating social media with the intelligence community or with the Department of Homeland Security or with the State Department. We now know that we're living in an orchestrated, curated, choreographed world. And we can't know it officially, but we all know it if we want to know it. which is hysterical. Now we have to talk about, well, are you a conspiracy theorist? Like, I read the Slack messages. I read the emails. What are you even talking about? This is some unholy story. It has nothing to do with Jeffrey Epstein.
And this is
It has to do with whatever this thing was. We tripped over a thing.
You know, and there's laundry lists of shitty things the government has done to innocent people. I mean, this has got to be right at the top. I mean, Fauci and his beagles. Beagles aren't people. You know, you better watch what you're saying is okay to do to human life or life. I eat meat, but you know, you don't torture it first. There's a thing that we tripped over that's about as dark as it could possibly be. Worse than we could imagine, really. So yeah, we tripped over it, and it's a whole thing. But if we don't stop it, it's going to keep going. So that's where none of this makes sense. There's the office again here. Stop asking about Jeffrey Epstein. You know what? I'm going to ask about Jeffrey Epstein even harder. Harumph. Pretty awesome. I love meme culture. Like, I'm going to steal the Epstein files, the song called The List, another office one. Look at they're protesting while their house is getting robbed by the thing they're protesting. Epstein list doesn't exist. Neither does my credit card debt. Pam Bondi's desk must be the Bermuda Triangle because nothing comes out of there. Like, just from a couple of snarky memes. Here's another one, Norm Macdonald. Hey, did you see the, in other news? Ghislaine Maxwell becomes the first person ever to be convicted of trafficking children to nobody. To nobody. Or so the Germans would have us believe. Yeah. Oh, it reminds me of that awful tragedy. Only Norm Macdonald could make a joke about, you know what? Hold on. I'm going to play you the Norm Macdonald joke about this because it's, you have to laugh or cry. Here, this is wild. This dude here. This is Nick Swardson. I used to play bar trivia with him and the dude from Kid and Play at a bar called Barney's Beanery in West Hollywood. That is a sentence I would have never imagined saying. Even to say it now is absolutely ridiculous. I digress. I've referenced this joke twice, so it's only fair that I play it for you. Prepare yourselves. 41 seconds.
For the 9th consecutive year, Nick, JetBlue Airlines ranked first for satisfaction among all North American airlines. But you know what ranked least in satisfaction? 9/11 Airlines. What a terrible name for an airline. It reminds me of that tragedy. Oh, 9/11. Yeah, don't laugh at 9/11 again. I tried to tell him not to laugh. Adam. I know. I walked through blood and bones in the streets of Manhattan trying to find my brother.
Jesus.
Yeah, he was in northern Canada. Yeah, let's stand.
He was in northern Canada. It reminds me of that terrible tragedy. That might be one of... This exact interaction has been on my mind multiple times in the past couple of days. I try to learn bits. I try to remember bits. Gotta file him away for a rainy day. And there was nobody more inappropriate and endearing than Norm Macdonald. He is greatly missed.
Hey, for the 9th consecutive year, Nick, JetBlue Airlines ranked first for satisfaction among all North American airlines. But you know what ranked least in satisfaction? 9/11 Airlines. What a terrible name for an airline. It reminds me of that tragedy.
Oh, 9/11.
Yeah, don't laugh at 9/11.
What?
Man. I tried to tell him not to laugh.
Adam.
I know. I walked through blood and bones in the streets of Manhattan trying to find my brother.
Jesus.
Yeah, he was in northern Canada.
He was in northern Canada. Why was he walking? That's one of the most well-crafted, uncomfortable, hilarious, inappropriate, funniest jokes I have ever heard. And now you have heard it as well. But yeah, Norm Macdonald. In other news, Ghislaine Maxwell becomes the first person ever to be convicted of trafficking children. To nobody. To nobody. Or as the Germans would have us believe. All right. I don't see Bongino trending yet. So what is going on here? Italy's Prime Minister, Giorgia Meloni, exposes Macron for supporting illegals who are invading Europe. It's all in Italian, so I'm not going to play it, but watch this clip. Radio Genoa is saying Giorgia Meloni on her election promises said, "I'll never replace Italian families with immigrant families." And that really is what the Democrats were trying to do for some reason that wasn't voted on. She says, "I don't want Italy to disappear. I don't want an Islamized Italy." She said the exact opposite on this video below. And she should resign. Italy and Europe need immigrants. I don't remember that one.
L'Europa hanno bisogno di...
But it's translated, so take a look and figure out if she's one of the good people or if she's a part of it. Hey, same with Alan Dershowitz, right? Vigilant Fox, a good account to follow. Listen to what is it? Lawyer Alan Dershowitz, TV personality Alan Dershowitz, lawyer, I don't know. Let's listen to what he has to say about this Epstein stuff.
So let me tell you, I know for a fact documents are being suppressed, and they're being suppressed to protect individuals. I know the names of the individuals. I know why they're being suppressed. I know who's suppressing them. But
Did you catch that? I think we're going to have to really quickly say Alan Dershowitz did not kill himself.
So let me tell you, I know for a fact documents are being suppressed, and they're being suppressed to protect individuals.
And if these individuals are power enough to make the president turn on a dime and Bongino and Cash bark like seals, and for Pam Bondi, the inaction figure, to sit there and do whatever it is Pam Bondi does. Alan Dershowitz bragging that he knows everything that this is. I don't know if that's a wise idea.
I know the names of the individuals. I know why they're being suppressed. I know who's suppressing them, but I'm bound by confidentiality from a judge and cases, and I can't disclose what I know. But I hand to God, I know the names of people whose files are being suppressed in order to protect them, and that's wrong.
Just out of curiosity, without names, are these politicians, business leaders?
I don't know who he's speaking with here.
Both?
They're everything. And let me tell you, a lot of them are, at least one of them is somebody who was accused. Others are accusers. And the judge, one of them is somebody who was accused. Others are accusers. And the judges have said, if somebody calls themselves a victim, we're not going to give any information about them, but they may not be victims. They may be perpetrators. So we don't have information about false accusers. And we know there have been many false accusers who have accused innocent people for money. And those
Deshaun Watson, Trevor Bauer in the sports world, Bubba Wallace, Jussie Smollett, LeBron James. I mean, how many fake accusations do you need to see to know that, like, the fake accusation is a real big issue?
records are being deliberately, willfully suppressed, and they shouldn't be suppressed. If the accusation is allowed out, so should the material that diminishes the credibility of the accuser.
Okay, so should the information that diminishes the credibility of the accuser. It's not right how Trevor Bauer's accuser gets to lie over and over and then ruin his life, and he doesn't really even get to defend himself, and the Dodgers cut him. He can't. Major League Baseball's blackballing him on fake accusations, like proven fake in court, like ruled to be fake accusations. Of course, fake accusations are a thing. And yes, that's Sean Spicer. Thank you, John Boy.
We want total transparency on this. Every single document, no redaction. That's what I've said from day one. I waive any of my rights of privacy. Anything there is about me, I'm happy because it will be exculpatory, because I know I haven't touched a woman other than my wife from the day I met Jeffrey Epstein.
Now, you always got to be careful with what attorneys say and what they don't say. He said a woman. He didn't say a girl, and he didn't say a man, and he didn't say a boy. Am I reading too much into that? David says he's a very strange man, this Alan Dershowitz. Oh, yeah. He's on this list, by the way. But he said, I haven't touched a woman. He didn't say girl. He didn't say man. He didn't say boy.
On total transparency on this. Every single document.
I'm not accusing him of it, but like he has been often accused of such things, of inappropriate activities on this island.
No redaction. That's what I've said from day one. I waive any of my rights of privacy. Anything there is about me, I'm happy because it will be exculpatory, because I know I haven't touched a woman other than my wife from the day I met Jeffrey Epstein. I don't even hug people, but I was falsely accused and I was able to prove it. And I was able to prove it through documents. And I want other people to be able to disprove false accusations through documents. But these documents are being suppressed and withheld.
That's an interesting take, because he's been on the other side of trying to defend his name, but they're withholding the documents that are exculpatory. And he sounds, at least his story, sort of like on the surface, it checks out. If you want to clear up, like, yes, I was on the plane with Cheryl, but we didn't go to the Pleasure Island. I mean, imagine being able to disprove that, but you're not allowed to disprove it. Trevor Bauer, he's blackballed from Major League Baseball, Cy Young winning pitcher. He's had to play in Mexico and Japan at the prime of his career because of an accusation that was proven to be false in court. Now, I might not know the whole story, and who knows what else is going on, but at least on the surface, this story is plausible, if not likely. Plausible, if not likely. Yeah, he's a rather odd duck, I would say. Oh, don't make me play the list again. I just think it's the best thing I've seen forever, and it's only a minute long. This is one of the best things I've ever heard.
Well, you got your bucket list, your grocery list, your list of things to do. You got a list of all your wishes. That's a wish list, dude. You got your Amazon and Santa Claus and Tooth Fairy too. But I know a list that don't exist, and buddy, so do you. It's the Epstein list, it's a mystery list, with the twist, it's a myth of a list that we all dismiss. Be an optimist, not a pessimist. If you wish to persist, it's probably best to forget that list. Now what were we talking about? I don't remember, but I can sleep a lot better at night. Yeah, life can just go along, knowing there's 10,000 hours of sunshine and flowers and nobody doing a damn thing wrong. Hear no, see no, damn Bongino cash to tell. Well, I wouldn't want to be a sweating man with bulging eyes. Now tell me them fellas ain't compromised. Any implicated dude will tell you. Anybody on the big list knows just how far the folks in charge will go to keep the status quo. So when the war bell rings, the song that they'll sing is a song that we well know. I-oh, I-oh, so it's off to war I go. Well, they said they's gonna fix it, but now they're all complicit. They-oh, 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 so it's off to war we go. Send the poor off to war, what else are we for? They-oh, 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 they-oh.
It's the best song I've heard in a long time. Yep. Hear no, see no, Dan Bongino. I'm going to try not to overdo this, but look.
Happened to our country.
Remember where we were?
Probably 20 million people. And you know, that's a little bit old, that chart. That chart's a couple of months old. And if you want to really see something that's said, take a look at what happened. Happened to our country.
Yeah, right. A year ago. He's Jesse Waters.
6 Secret Service agents that were connected to Trump's Butler assassination attempt have been suspended. This comes just days shy of the shooting's anniversary. The identities of the agents suspended are unknown, but sources say their roles range from supervisory positions to line-level agents. We'll continue to monitor this story. And 6 Secret Service agents that were connected to Trump's
I mean, what is the resolution? Who did what? Who was behind it? Who was he meeting with? Like, what do we know? What has the investigation told us? 6 months. Where are we at? Oh, no. Like, they just have to keep everything under wraps. Guys, this is how they stall, and they don't ever reach. They don't ever finish the project. The project is finding out exactly what we know about the assassination attempt and the Secret Service involvement. 6 were suspended. Well, what does that mean? I hope we get a more thorough report. C3, I've been seeing a lot. I don't know who C3 is. 151,000 videos, followers rather. But I've been sharing some of their stuff lately. It says, we know that the Secret Service had resources to protect every swamp creature in D.C., but, quote, did not have the resources, end quote, to protect President Trump in Butler, Pennsylvania. The same guy that allowed the invasion of illegals on our border was in charge of the Secret Service, Alejandro Mayorkas, and this is treason. Do you agree or disagree that Alejandro Mayorkas is guilty of treason and needs to be indicted? I agree. I'm all in on indicting Mayorkas. And if there's no indictments, nothing's going to happen. This here is Jennifer Barrasso. Corey Comparatore's sister says they haven't heard from the Secret Service. She's furious the agency told CBS News it suspended 6 people for up to 6 weeks after wrapping its internal review of Trump-Butler rally. And no one will be fired. That's not accountability, she says. Remember when they tried to off Trump? And here's what the Secret Service did to blame it on something absolutely ludicrous.
That roof have been secure, period.
That building in particular has a sloped roof at its highest point. And so, you know, there's a safety factor that would be considered there, that we wouldn't want to put somebody up on a sloped roof. And so, you know, the decision was made to secure the building from inside.
I mean, you're seeing this sloped roof. Why has this person not been arrested and charged with treason? Conspiring to commit treason to stage a coup to overthrow the United States by offing the clear favorite to run the country. A sloped roof? Are you kidding me? We get frustrated because nobody's held accountable. Oh, the wrong people are overcharged and hassled unmercifully for some unknown reason. But the key players that need the most punishment are rarely, if ever, held accountable. At some point, something's got to give. C3 says the entire Secret Service had a full 2 minutes to stop the shooter, but they let President Trump get hit and only 6 got suspended. We are not a serious country. Watch this.
He was doing his job. I wouldn't even be doing this. It's a beautiful place with a gorgeous ocean.
Look, they're all pointing.
They're all pointing.
Maybe the Pacific.
Yeah, someone's on top of the roof. Look.
Someone's on the roof.
There he is right there. Right there. See him?
Immediately, you go, fire, fire, fire. Take the eagle to the nest. Fire, fire, fire. Eagle to the nest. He should have been swooped in and taken out immediately. They didn't do that for 2 minutes. There's nothing to talk about here except that the fucking story has not come out yet. Who suspended? 6 suspended? You've had 6 months. You've had a year to figure this out. And you've had 6 months of the Trump administration. Who is getting indicted for conspiracy to commit treason, to stage a coup of the United States?
He's laying down. See him?
Yeah, he's laying down.
Fire, fire, fire. Put the eagle to his nest.
And still I'm here with you fighting like hell to get it.
This is not rocket science. Any normal person would say that's exact. The powers that be would be communicating. The Secret Service would be communicating to get him out of here.
What's happening?
And to make sure we take back the White House, because if we do, we're going to make America better than ever before. We're going to make it.
Yeah, look.
And it's
There he
not
is.
easy, because we have millions and millions of people in our country that shouldn't be here. Dangerous people, criminals. We have criminals. We have drug dealers. We have people that should not be here. And it's much tougher than if it happened.
He's on the roof.
Ever. In recorded history, we're the best border. In fact, if they could ever put up a chart, I don't know if they can do it. Do you guys have access to that chart that I love so much?
All that time. Fire, fire, fire. Eagle to the nest. They swoop in and get him the hell out of there. If they clear the threat, he can come back out. This is job number 1.
You don't mind if I go off teleprompter, do you? Because these teleprompters are so damn boring. I try and explain that.
Imagine if he didn't go off teleprompter. Imagine if we just had someone reading a teleprompter.
Oh, there's it. Wow. You guys are doing it. They're getting better with time. My guys, take a look at that chart. Take a look at the arrow on the bottom. See the big red arrow, right? So that's when I left office. That was the lowest point, and that comes right from the government services, comes right out of Border Patrol. Take a look at that. So that arrow is the lowest amount of illegal immigration ever in recorded history into our country. And then the worst president in the history of our country took over. And look what happened to our country. Probably 20 million people. And you know, that's a little bit old, that chart. That chart's a couple of months old. And if you want to really see something that says,
I hope he's turning this way. Be careful, guys.
We got breaking news. We got breaking news coming in. Shots fired. Seems to be shots fired at the Trump rally.
She's yelling to get up here, get up here. Is that where he was shot then?
President Trump has been shot. We know he hit the ground. We do not know if President Trump has been shot. He's up. He's up. Shots are still continuing to be fired. He's giving a thumbs up, everybody. He's giving a thumbs up.
This is a big deal.
Breaking news right now. This is Vanessa Broussard reporting to you live from Butler, Pennsylvania. We hear shots fired at the rally not 10 to 15 minutes after President Trump arrived. He hit the ground. Unheard of yet if he has been hit by gunfire. Secret Service quickly erupted.
We can see the guy
there.
there.
The snipers on the building behind the.
I think they hit him because the guy he looks dead.
Right there. On the roof, top left. That was history that we lived through. Secret Service had 2 minutes to stop the shooter, but they let President Trump get hit and only 6 got suspended. We are not in a serious country. This report here, Greg Kelly. Oh, he's saying he's sitting to the direct right, just so you know. He knows you guys are up there. Roger that. Put in my car on a picnic table. 58, go out with my rifle. Kid leaning, learning about building. I did see him with a rangefinder, looking toward the stage. 7 minutes before the shooting. All these messages. You want to notify SS snipers to look out? I lost sight of him. Call it into command. Have uniform. Check it out. Looking toward the stage. All these messages from Secret Service. Nobody said fire, fire, fire. Take the eagle to his nest. Or whatever the fuck they say. JFK's spirit saved him. Victoria's Secret Service would have done better. Oh, now the Les Wexner, Victoria's Secret, Jeffrey Epstein connection. That's a whole other rabbit hole. Yeah, the spirit of JFK and also the Shinzo Abe. Oh my God, that Shinzo Abe. I wonder if I have that to show you. I would love to show you the Shinzo. I wonder if I can find this animation. But there's a whole scene where Shinzo Abe comes in. Like this. I unironically believe Shinzo Abe in heaven saved Trump from that assassin's bullet. Oh, there's a whole great video. It's like anime. Come on, Grok. It's not this one. No, it's not that one. Oh, darn. It's really great if I could find it, but it's not letting me find it. Oh, well. Greg Kelly says dozens of text messages among Secret Service agents and cops about the threat to President Trump, but they let him take the stage anyway. I've been to Yankee games that were delayed by drizzling rain, yet that rally's allowed to proceed. This matter is not closed. No, and that's what the internet's doing. We're not letting this shit go. Trump should have been removed way before those shots went off. It was allowed to happen. Exactly. A lot of people killed already. Unfortunately, yes. All right, let's talk about child labor, illegal alien child slave labor. Laura Loomer says to Ruben Gallego, who's a senator from Arizona, many say he was installed by the cartels and that he did not actually win his race and that he does not represent Arizonians. Democrat Senator Ruben Gallego is defending the use of illegal alien child slave laborers on marijuana farms in California, says Laura Loomer. I guess that's to be expected from a senator whose father was an illegal alien drug dealer from Mexico with ties to the cartels. Gallego is depraved, she says. Jack Posobiec says, thanks to Trump, ICE has now begun finding the children that the Biden administration, air quote, lost. Many have been working in forced labor in Gavin Newsom's state of California. The child trafficking is off the scale. God's children are not for sale. That rhymes. Anna Paulina Luna says, are we going to talk about how there were children working at a weed farm in California? Data Republican says, this is the most appalling thing you've posted yet to Gavin Newsom. What did Gavin post? John Boehner and the cannabis millionaires. Oh, here's what Newsom posted up here. There's kids running from tear gas, crying on the phone because their mother was just taken from the field. Trump calls me new scum, but he's the real scum.
Do not panic, do not run! Do not run! Stay calm!
They took your mom?
Children protesters running from tear gas during an immigration raid this day.
Do not panic, do not run!
Data Republican said, this is the most appalling thing you've posted yet, Gavin Newsom. You're seriously presenting a video of ICE dispersing a field where children are being used as slave labor and framing it all as cruelty while casting yourself as morally superior. This is child slavery, and you're upset that it's being stopped, and you're considered the Democrat frontrunner in 2028. I can't even respond with sarcasm or wit. Stop being evil. Andy Slater says Gervonta Davis was arrested early morning in South Florida. The WBA lightweight champ is accused of hitting his ex-girlfriend on the back of the head and slapping her, sources tell me. Concerned Citizen is trying to have a conversation here about Macron. So readers added context to this. Concerned Citizen said, so it turns out Bridget Macron is a man. Woman wins her case and is cleared of defamation based on evidence because she was right. But that's only the start of this really weird story. Readers added context they thought people wanted to know, saying the ruling doesn't indicate that Macron was born a man, but rather that false allegations are considered free speech and not deliberate defamation. That's an important legal distinction to know. Deb reminding us that female FBI agent wasn't tall enough to protect Trump. Yeah, and that turned into the conversation about DEI. Didn't earn it. Can you dunk the basketball or not? I don't care what you look like. I don't care what's between your legs. I don't care who you're sleeping with. I don't care what flying spaghetti monster in the sky you choose to worship and pray to at night. Can you do the job? Can you dunk a basketball? If the lady's too short to protect President Trump, she shouldn't be having that job. That's DEI. Diversity, equity, inclusion. You're including people that shouldn't have that role. It's not a knock on anyone in particular, but forcing a man into become a first grade teacher just because there's not enough men in that role, doesn't mean that that's the way you should be doing things. In fact, that's the exact opposite. Joe Biden says, what did he say? To paraphrase, he said, I'm going to appoint a woman of color to be my vice president, or I'm going to pick a woman of color to be on the Supreme Court. It's like, no, you pick a qualified person, one of the most qualified people you can find. Pick the most qualified person you can find. Person. Well, I'm going to pick the best starting pitcher matchup. What was I trying to say? I'm going to pick the best 5 starting pitchers that I can, as long as they graduated from the University of Illinois. You're like, what? You're severely limiting your scope of what you can choose from. No, you want the 5 best pitchers that you can put on the diamond. The media figured that we'd rather know, W-E-E-D. So the Bridget Macron story is very weird. Speaking of weird, here's Trump then and Trump now. What are we supposed to make of this?
Bill Clinton. Nice guy. Got a lot of problems coming up, in my opinion, with the famous island with Jeffrey Epstein. Are you still talking about Jeffrey Epstein? This guy's been talked about for years. That island was really a cesspool. There's no question about it. Just ask Prince Andrew. I mean, I can't believe you're asking a question on Epstein at a time like this where we're having some of the greatest success and also tragedy with what happened in Texas. It just seems like a desecration.
Yeah. What kind of skit are they running? Like, what is even happening? I can't say that I understand it, and it's very frustrating. Thomas Massey tells us that Dr. Kirk Moore should not be prosecuted for helping people avoid the tyrannical vax mandates, which were based on a corrupted FDA approval process. I deposed the 2 high-level FDA reviewers who quit, and their corrupt boss, when Biden admin told them to modify the approval process. So that was in response to Marjorie Taylor Greene, representative, writing a letter to the DOJ asking all charges are dropped against Dr. Kirk Moore, who's facing 35 years in federal prison for destroying thousands of vials of COVID-19 vaccine, giving his patients vaccine cards without taking the shots, and injecting saline into children whose parents wanted them to believe they got vaccinated without risking the deadly side effects. The man is not a hero. I'm sorry, the man is a hero, not a criminal. He's a hero, not a criminal. The charges were filed under Biden's DOJ, not Trump. So there's a growing movement to make that happen. That feels right. Chelsea Clinton put a message out saying, "Hi, Megyn Kelly. I'm sure the organizations I mentioned, which are on the ground in Texas, would welcome your support. I'd be happy to put you in touch directly. We all need to support those impacted by the tragic floods in Kerr County and the surrounding areas." An hour later, Megyn Kelly responds, "Chelsea, what we are seeing in the replies to your post is that while you love to play fake philanthropist, absolutely no one wants your family of grifters anywhere near those people suffering in Texas or Haiti or anyone else." You're still talking about Cuba? Well done, Megyn Kelly. Gateway Pundit reports that U.S. aid quietly shipped 11,000 virus samples to Wuhan lab without formal agreement or oversight. Dig into that one. Oh, go back to Milwaukee when I interview the founder of Gateway Pundit, Jim Hoft, at the Republican convention. Lindell TV here. This is Emerald Robinson. The Trump administration has shut down border. Well, here, let's just watch the report.
Yet another "see, we told you so" moment. Trump administration Agricultural Secretary Brooke Rollins has sealed the U.S. border with Mexico over concerns that cattle coming into the U.S. from Mexico are infected with a particularly invasive bug species, which we've talked about on the show, known as the screwworm. Now, you'll remember that our friend Michael Yon has warned about the screwworm on this program for years and on his Substack for more than 2 years. Rollins, who is not who we consider a real member of MAGA, has shown herself to be open to pressure, though, from MAGA, so that's a good thing. We'll give her credit there. Her announcement reads, quote, "I've ordered an immediate shutdown of live cattle, bison, and horse trade through the southern U.S.-Mexico border. This decisive action comes after Mexico confirmed another case of New World screwworm in Veracruz. As promised, USDA remains vigilant to ensure the protection of America's livestock and food supply." Good on you for responding. It gets stranger, though. Apparently, there's such a thing, as I noted in the tease to this segment, as cattle laundering, which is apparently like money laundering, but with big cattle. According to the trade publication Beef News, quote, "Cartel-linked cattle are entering the U.S. beef supply with clean USDA paperwork, and no one is watching the real owners."
The story gets weirder and worse.
From smuggling routes in Chiapas to government-tagged animals in Jalisco, Texas, narco ranching syndicates have mastered the art of meat laundering. And joining us now is Chad Sullivan. He's an American rancher. He's on the front lines of what Michael John and myself have been talking about for years on this show.
Anyway, watch her full report. It's super interesting. Immediate shutdown of live cattle, bison, and horse imports from Mexico after confirmed cases of the invasive New World screwworm that they've warned about for years. Major win for America First ranchers who've been sounding the alarm on both biological threats and cartel-linked cattle laundering that could compromise our food supply. 19 cattle groups urge USDA to maintain the ban on Mexican livestock imports amid screwworm threats. Say no to imports, say yes to American beef. Let's rebuild the industry. So they've quietly accepted, according to Brianna Sagdal, senior writer and research fellow at the Beef Initiative, saying that she's hearing they've quietly accepted that New World screwworm is coming to the U.S. rather than fighting for America's livestock. Rollins capitulated to the Big Four, allowing live imports. So that was July 3rd. Now we're a week later, and they are putting bans on this. Secretary Rollins standing with American cattle producers, continuing to protect family farms and New World screwworm. So we got to watch our food supply, and we got to pay attention to this story. I don't have all the answers, but it's out there. It's urgent. It's interesting, and we need to know more about it. And you should probably get a relationship with a local cattleman or woman, cattle person. I know we would get like a side of beef or a fourth of a side of beef or whatever. Where's the beef? Fill up a freezer full of it. Quality ingredient that you know. John Birch Society warns us that, did you know New World screwworm infestation can infect any open wound, not just cattle and livestock? Please make sure Big Ag Secretary Brooke Rollins and her staff know this. Ugh. There's Dershowitz with his comments again. Representative Burchett talking on News Nation.
I think the files existed at one time. I think they were destroyed in the previous administration. And I think if they'd ever had anything on Trump, it would have been out day one. Agreed. Under the Biden administration. And I think there's some very prominent people. There's Hollywood people, but I think there's world leaders too. And would it have caused economic disruption around the globe? Maybe. But I don't really care.
Do you think there's a theory? Is there a theory perhaps that none of the, or not none, but maybe some of the people on the list didn't do anything wrong, and this would be a terrible guilt by association to put their names out, just to put everybody's name out?
No, look, you can have outer ring, inner ring. Outer ring people, this guy, this Epstein thing targeted anybody in finance, anybody in politics, anybody in sports or entertainment. There are people on the outer ring. And you would expect anybody to be on the outer ring. Anybody. We want to know past ring 1. Go to ring 2, ring 3, ring 4. We want to know who's in ring 4. As in the fourth ring of hell or something. So I don't know. I don't buy that just affiliation. We've seen pictures with Trump. We've seen pictures with all sorts of people. That doesn't mean that they were implicated. We want to know who has the compromised footage. Who got ensnared? Who, looking through the emails, who was guilty of what?
Been charged with a crime, put all these people's names out, and suddenly, because they had an interaction with Epstein that was completely benign, they're labeled as one of his buddies?
What's Miss Maxwell doing in jail? What did she do? Where is that? You know, who did she provide whatever she did? Why is she in jail? You know, that's got to be a question that should be asked at some point. But again, under the previous administration, we're not going to get that. Dead men tell no tales. He's dead, and
well, I just want to be clear what you're saying. Are you saying the previous administration destroyed everything, or are you saying that the Trump administration is basically doing?
That is a massive point that neither Pam Bondi or President Trump have come out and said, we're supposed to have all these files and they're missing. We think the previous administration destroyed all of it. I haven't heard them say that. Did I miss that? Because I haven't heard them say that.
The same thing as the previous administration.
No, I think they destroyed everything. I think
so. Why wouldn't Pam Bondi say that?
Yes.
She doesn't have any proof of it. I'm just telling you what I think. I've been around this town enough. I think she's got over her skis pretty much, saying all this stuff. The files are on my desk. I'm going to release it, and then she releases stuff that I knew. So I just don't think. I think they all got out there, got a little excited, and I don't think they exist. And that's my currently. I think they did it. I think they did it one time. You got an administration that lied about it, said Hunter Biden didn't, his laptop, that didn't exist. That's Russian. You had 30 of the top
I get all that.
Intelligence people in the country say that, and they didn't get chastised by anybody but y'all and a couple others.
Yeah. The point is that's not what they said. That's not what they were saying. If Pam Bondi said, look, we have the photos of all the boxes of hard drives. We've asked for the hard drives. Nobody's delivered it to us. There are no hard drives. We're not saying it didn't happen. We're saying we've requested all the stuff that you've seen in the pictures. We've asked it, where are the case files from all we received stuff and they're empty. Or there's nothing where it says it was cataloged as if it were stolen. None of that. They haven't said any of that. If that's the story, that's the story. Say that. Then I could at least say, well, okay, maybe the creepy child sniffer Joe Biden. I'm sorry. That's not fair to call Joe Biden a creepy child sniffer. The creepy child showerer. Sorry. Using Ashley Biden's diary entry about how her dad would creepily and inappropriately shower with her, so she'd wait till late at night when there was the least chance possible that her dad would join her in the shower. Maybe that creep had something to do with deleting all the footage. Did they say that? Oh, here's where it gets good then. No, you got to trust the plan. See, now they're going after Comey and Clapper. You saw that, right? So they're going to say the intelligence agencies that those two ran destroyed all the documents. So we're going to start an investigation into them. Right? That'll string them along a little bit. The same shit we've known for 8 fucking years. 16 years, Obama and the deep state and all of their bullshit. Yet we've known about this for 2 decades. For a decade at least. Oh, no, trust the plan. Listen. They're all caught. It's the biggest sting operation in the history of mankind or something. Trust the plan. Huh? Indict now. Well, no, it's going to take several years to get to the bottom of, like the Durham report, Perkins Coie, DNC, Hillary Clinton, making Watergate look like child's play, all the civil rights violating, treason-inducing tactics, and how long does it take to start dropping indictments? The left did it on things that weren't even legitimate. Alvin Bragg, Fannie Willis, over and over. Letitia James, dump piles of indictments on fake shit. You're telling me you can't go after the things that are obvious? I mean, come on. Shower power. Jeez. The files are on her nails. I actually just had to go get my kit. You guys have a kit? Personal kit? No, I don't sell these, but these are awesome. I turned around and I clipped my nail on something and I ripped into it. So you got to hurry up and take that part of your nail off before it catches again. Actually, I found another spot that needs to be filed down so that you don't make it worse. You do not want to make it worse or rip into it again. But if there aren't punishments, if there aren't indictments, this is going to happen again. That's why this is important. There's no just letting this go. There's no letting this go. And if this is a war, and if this is about dominating the country and ceasefires and stand down orders or something, I mean, look, Putin doesn't want to stop because he's like, no, Ukraine picked this war. They wouldn't stop working with the U.S. and Ukraine to put NATO on the borders and trying to destroy Russia, and we're sick of them messing with us. No, they started a war. No, you didn't start a war. You started a war. Oh, we might have fired the first shots at all of your troops that were assembled on our border. If you had 5 people in ski masks lurking at your door and you're watching it happen, but you fire first to stop it, which one is the offensive act? Which one is the defensive act? Well, you fired first. Yeah, because you were amassing an army at my door. So, you know, just keep it in mind, all right? Tim Burchett, sometimes he's tough to listen to, but he is one of the best. He's great at asking questions and running investigations. But we are so far past the point of investigation.
I think the files existed at one time.
It's time for indictments. Drop the indictments. So many indictments are needed right now. Or else it's going to happen again. It'll become the new way of the world. Prince Andrew walks free as FBI drops the Epstein probe. The Duke of York, according to Mario Knopfel, once nicknamed Air Miles Andy for his globetrotting, hasn't left the UK much in 6 years. Why? Fear over arrest from its ties to Jeffrey Epstein. Now a leaked memo says the FBI is closing its investigation. No charges, no client list, nothing. Andrew can travel again without looking over his shoulder. Cool. So no one's seeing the Epstein list. Well, Pam Bondi saw it. It was on her desk before the FBI said it didn't exist. Source The Sun. This video here, Andy No reporting, an official Republican election observer in Island County, Washington, declined to wear a mask while observing ballot counting in the November 24 election. And he was convicted of a felony for not wearing a mask. He doesn't have to wear a mask. The woke anti-Republican prosecutor, Greg Banks, charged Tim Haselow with felony unauthorized access. What? A jury convicted Haselow this week, and he faces up to a year in jail. The prosecutor has a history of expressing violent hatred for Trump supporters and those who don't wear masks. He has charged a second Republican election observer, an older woman, with a felony over the same accusation. Oh, come on. You gotta overturn this stuff immediately. This is not... Supreme Court needs to weigh in on this one. Thank you, Andy No, for sharing that story. Brian Cates, hold on. What's this done here? Cat Turd asks, why are children working at a marijuana plant in California? Right here, Department of Health and Human Services says, and now for my next magic act as Biden HHS secretary, I'll make 400,000 kids disappear. Brian Cates, political columnist, says, oh, you have no idea how bad this is. It's only beginning to come out where the missing 400,000 children are. Pay careful attention to this meme. It's trying to tell you something important. Is the message getting through? That they're hidden away in secret illegal grow farms spread across the fruited plain? I know a lot of people think I'm exaggerating or being a bit hyperbolic when I say they literally enabled a massive 20 million mass migration over the past 4 years to import a new slave class. But I'm not exaggerating at all. What have I been saying for months? I've been saying nobody loses 400,000 children. They just don't want to tell you where they are. You think the same elite perverts and human traffickers that say age is just a number are going to balk at putting kids to work for next to nothing on their grow farms? Why would you believe that? The list. I'm back to the list. I'm not going to play it again, but it's great. Get back to my profile. X just jumped around on me. Are we watching the same screen? Yeah, we'd like to know. WEED. All right, there's Tim Burchett. Look, Charlie Kirk is reporting this. Says per Axios, FBI Deputy Director Dan Bongino has clashed with AG Pam Bondi over the handling of the Epstein case files and took this Friday off of work. Deputy AG Todd Blanche has denied the reports of feuding between the FBI and DOJ. But, Charlie Kirk reported this. That's fine. But I said, why is Axios driving our entire news cycle? This whole Epstein story has been driven by Axios leaked reporting. Why are we dancing to the beat of Axios? Actually, that'll be my reply. Why are we dancing to the beat of Axios? Can someone explain this? It's a fair question to ask. All right. John Brennan's security company was busted. Well, here, let's listen to Chanel Ryan real quick.
Here's a story time forgot. Remember when John Brennan, Obama's CIA director, the mastermind of the Russiagate hoax to get Trump, remember when John Brennan's security company was caught messing with Obama's passport files at the State Department months before the general election? And a lieutenant cooperating with federal investigators about passport fraud at the State Department was shot dead in his car 1 month later. And then a few years later, after an appropriate amount of time passes so we could forget this, Obama announced John Brennan as a CIA director. Do you remember this story? I do.
So finish that report. There's a lot to that. So they're going after Brennan. Is it all connected? Are they going to bring it all down? It has to come down. This simply must come down. This cannot stand. Alex says nothing can stop the truth coming out. This should send chills down your spine. This is McCain's wife and some lady.
Plain sight. Epstein was hiding in plain sight. We all knew about him. We all knew what he was doing. But we had no one that was, legal aspect that would go after him. They were afraid of him. For whatever reason, they were afraid of him. Plain sight.
Yep. Mike Benz here.
I have this presentation I'm working on. That'll be up tomorrow. This is a placeholder. I'm just going to say what it is.
I am there.
The 2008 plea deal review that was done by the Justice Department's Office of Professional Responsibility can answer publicly once and for all the question that has hung over the Epstein case for the since 2019 as to whether or not the Vicky Ward story about Epstein belonged to intelligence, or at least that Alex Acosta, the then Justice Department official who gave the sweetheart deal to Epstein in 2008, was, quote, told to back off of Epstein because he belonged to intelligence and it was above his pay grade. The question about whether or not Vicky Ward's reporting was accurate has been a giant mystery that's hung over this. There are two separate lines of inquiry about the intelligence question. One is, was Jeffrey Epstein working with U.S. and or foreign intelligence agencies?
How is that even a question? Is it just assumed and not proven? It feels like we all know that.
And two, if yes, did that influence in any way the course of prosecutions of Epstein while he was carrying on these activities for so long? We don't know as a public.
And we need to know as a public. Watch his full report there. Well, CNN tried to call weather modification a conspiracy and then got hit with this. The Rainmaker CEO says,
when you are accused of
engineering the weather and weather modification. What would you say to that?
Yeah, I mean, for one, I think that this is a very consequential technology, right? Not just anybody should be allowed to modify the weather. There should be oversight and transparency. And so
when you are accused,
not a denial, it's confirmation. They're not saying it. They're not hiding it. They're saying it out loud, says Hustle Bitch. I mean, they know the power of it. And was it happening right before these massive floods that led to deaths? Here's what I was referencing earlier. All the bad things the government has done to us. Ready? So you wonder about Epstein in the list? Angry Citizen says, please, it would be a shame if you researched these, so don't. Project Bluebird, Project Bluebeam, Project Evergreen, Project Artichoke, MK Ultra, MK Naomi, Project Monarch, Operation Chaos, Operation Gladio, Operation Mockingbird, Operation Paperclip, Operation Northwoods, Operation Ranch Hand, Operation Popeye, Doomsday Project, COINTELPRO, Operation Project Seal, Operation Stargate, Operation High Jump, Operation Delirium. Yeah, it seemed like as a regular Coast to Coast AM listener, I know many of these off the top of my head. I know the names of the others, and as soon as you give me the synopsis, I go, "Oh yeah, okay, that one, yeah." These are the topics that I would spend 3 hours listening to an author talk to George Norrie or Jimmy Church or John B. Wells or Ian Punnett or one of these guys on Coast to Coast. I love this stuff. I cover current events and a lot of politics, but I'd love to talk about more esoteric deep dives on a specific topics. That's kind of what Kenneth is saying, like that I should have a talk show. Yeah, I mean, when you have a guest and you can drill down, you wrote a book about this, tell me about the book. And you go, okay, well, here you go. Operation Northwoods, Ranch Hand, Popeye, COINTELPRO, Project Seal, Stargate, High Jump, Delirium, Project Rainbow, Operation Midnight Climax. Oh, that one's great. LSD. Project Woodpecker, Project Stagate, Grill Flame and Sunstreak, Operation Cloverleaf, Operation Fishbowl, Project Blue Book, the Blue Beam is a big one, Project Coast, Musical Control, Rockefeller, Project Groom Lake, Jekyll Island, the creation of the Federal Reserve, fiat currency, Rear Admiral Richard Evelyn Byrd, Agartha, fluoridation effects, Agenda 21, Agenda 30. I interviewed Rosa Corey, who wrote Agenda 21. Monsanto, aspartame, the Getty Research Institute, BGH, bovine growth hormone, Rothschild family history, Albert Pike, Adam Weishaupt, PNAC, Council of Foreign Relations. If I'm reading all these, if the keywords haven't thrown this episode down the memory hole yet, they're about to. Oh, they're about to. Nick Adams saying I fall asleep listening to Art Bell every night. Oh, you used to listen to Art Bell and fell asleep to it, or you're currently listening to Art Bell reruns? Yeah, Kenneth falls asleep to Project Jim Beam, not Blue Beam. Monsanto, aspartame, Getty Research, Albert Pike, Adam Weishaupt, PNAC, Council of Foreign Relations. There we go, the CFR. Committee of 300, 13 Families, Skull and Bones Society, the Bush family's business dealings, General Wesley Clark, Bill Cooper, William Guy Carr, Millabs, Anunnaki, Nephilim, Nibiru, Planet X, Ninth Circle Cult, Nazi Eugenics, Council of 13, Council of Nicaea, Library of Alexandria, Vatican Catacombs, European Emperor Constantine, Bloodlines of the Illuminati, Freemasonry, Knights of Malta, Jesuits, Sabbatian Frankists, Dumbs, Phil Schneider, Protocols of the Learned Elders of Zion, Tavistock Institute, Frankfurt Subversion Techniques, Fabian Society, Satanic Ritual Abuse, Elm Street Guest House, 788, 790 Finchley Road, Hampstead, whoop, Christchurch Primary School, Hampstead, the Samson Option. Oh, we've heard about that. What is the biggest conspiracy that you know is true? Wow. Yeah, Kenneth engages in Project Jim Beam that leads to Project Wet Dream. All right now. On our X feed as well, Dark Maha. Let me ask you as a question, though. What's the biggest conspiracy that you believe to know is true? What is the biggest, air quote, conspiracy that you know is true? Nick listens to the old compilations on YouTube. Yeah, I didn't interview Art Bell, but I have interviewed George Norrie. Like I said, I've been on Coast to Coast as a guest with John B. Wells, and I've called in with George Norrie before. Ian Punnett, I had an interview with. Jimmy Church, multiple videos with. All right, check out this thread. Nicole Shanahan published the Dark Maha report, and it's a bombshell. Deep state elites have run top secret geoengineering projects since the 50s. They have advanced tech for mass psychological manipulation. It's no longer conspiracy theory. It's real. Check out that thread. Dark Maha, Nicole Shanahan, she was famously the vice president for Bobby Kennedy, his campaign. Trump Girl says the Democrat Party just wants their slaves. A Republican removed their slaves in 1865, and now a Republican is removing their slaves in 25. And they're mad at their prospective voters because right now America waking up to the Democrat Marxist communist global agenda. They're not voting for Democrats anymore unless they're groomed, manipulated, and coerced. Take a listen to the greatest hits of Democrats explaining why they want millions of illegal aliens in the United States.
Why are you shipping these immigrants up north? We need them to pick the crops.
Food is not reaching our table because those who pick the crops have been removed.
I mean, you're going to have vegetables rotting in the fields.
Our vegetables would rot in the ground if they weren't being picked.
There's stupid generic music in the background. They keep hitting me with copyright claims, and they'll make it so that fewer people are allowed to see this video. Because whoever put this video together played generic music in the background. Watch it at your own. It's in the top stories on the New American Media. Good grief. Back to the slave labor in California right now.
But we begin with Matt Finn. He's live with more on the growing violence against ICE. Matt, good evening.
Trace, good evening. Two federal sources tell Fox tonight that hundreds of people have been taken into custody during an hours-long immigration sweep at two farming locations in Carpinteria and Camarillo, California. Tear gas and smoke bombs were launched into the crowds of protesters clashing with immigration agents. Some people were transported to the hospital. Others were taken into custody for interfering with federal officers. Protesters could be seen throwing rocks at this black SUV. And tonight, sources tell Fox the feds are investigating the possibility of an active shooter at the scene. Investigators searched for shell casings and are using facial recognition to identify the suspect. This all started much earlier in the day. Federal sources tell Fox they had a criminal warrant to get onto the properties based on evidence illegal aliens were being harbored there. The properties are believed to be tied to a company called Glass House Brands, which has a state license to grow marijuana. And in San Francisco earlier this week, a group of protesters were seen in an intense clash with immigration agents outside of a courthouse. It was reportedly over a specific migrant. Video shows mass protesters scuffling with ICE agents who use batons. Some can be heard screaming, "Get away from my gun." No reports of injuries from this heated interaction, Trace.
Matt Finn live for us here. Matt, thank you. Let's bring in PragerU political commentator and former Venezuelan political refugee.
There you go. Unaccompanied minors were found
who was killed that day
at the cannabis slave fields in the ICE raid of a California farm. I'm seeing a post get sent to me. Okay, Eric Daughtry reporting this. Here, let me tell my source. All right, in real time, I pulled that up, and I'm playing it on the live show right now. Thanks for the heads up. I covered this story, but I guess this is the evolution of what I was just talking about with Bongino and Bondi. Where are we at? We're on that one. Update: Dan Bongino will resign from the FBI if Pam Bondi refuses to leave the Department of Justice. This being reported through the Daily Wire. Mary Marg Olahan. That's the person there. Where are we at? There we go. Eric Daughtry writes, this is getting confirmed everywhere. President Trump is in Texas right now. AG Bondi needs to think about this one and not put Trump in a bad spot. As of now, it sounds like Pam Bondi wants to stay. I don't. I can't stand her.
Mr. Bongino is thinking about his future with the FBI. We're told that both FBI Director Kash Patel and the Attorney General have every intention to stay and continue to serve. Mr. Bongino is thinking about...
And it's President Trump who's backing Bondi really strongly, not reading the room, making it look like President Trump is guilty. It's not a good look. Not a good look. All right, California edition. Yeah, the state ran to legalize weed in California, hand out free drug needles to the homeless, and decriminalize hard drugs, and now has illegal alien kids working as child labor slaves on a marijuana farm. You can't make this stuff up. April Silverman reporting. Aside from Epstein, the Trump agenda is advancing free speech, pro-Second Amendment, parents' rights, religious freedom, voter ID, free and fair elections, and reducing the size of regulation in government. The Democrats are trying to frame Trump as being a dictator for that. They're against free speech and God and parents' rights and secure borders and secure elections and the Second Amendment. So they're just trying to frame Trump. Well, Trump's not doing himself any favors by allowing Epstein to stay out or by letting this story continue. Yeah, Gavin Newsom's wife crying about the millions of illegals in California who will now be deported. Like Gavin, his wife Jennifer Siebel sees illegals as slaves to be profited off of and used to cheat in elections, says Paul Sizbula. Agree or disagree with this one? We hated Obama like you hate Trump, except we hated Obama because he hates America. You hate Trump because you hate America. Did you catch that one? Do you agree or disagree with that one? Is that how you see it? Let us know in the comments. All right. That's what I had to share with you. Is there anything else breaking that I need to get to today? It's been a wild day. There's been a lot breaking. So yeah, we will leave it at that. I could try to find that. Yeah, we will leave it at that for now. Thank you, everybody, for watching the TNAM Daily Show here on the New American Media. Hit like, hit subscribe to all the places. Sign up, support us, share the show with your friends, and all that jazz. Have a great weekend, everybody. We'll plan on doing a show tomorrow. Probably earlier, though. Earlier, I think. But yeah, stay connected with the New American Media and all of the other platforms, and we'll be back again uncovering the news with you again soon. Been a really good show. I appreciate each and every one of you in the comments. And stay connected in between the shows on our other platforms. So signing out on behalf of everybody at the TNAM universe, I appreciate you. I love you. And we'll talk to you again soon. Adam made the show. Yes, you did. Just in the nick of time. Take care, everyone. Peace out.
guide to the truth. TheNewAmericanMedia.com.